What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Top 5 Podcast, a show where every week we choose a topic and give it a top 5 ranking. My name is Ron McNerney, and I'm joined here today with my buddies, Zach Bliner.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Colin Harding.
What's up?
And Matt Bush. Thanks, Matt. Today's show is centered around our favorite Star Wars movies and why they are our favorite. Boys, are we ready?
No, I'm actually
Yes.
It's good you're not ready, Zach, because we're starting today with Colin. Colin, give us your number 5 Star Wars movie.
Oh, God.
Number 5.
I'm scared.
Episode 2.
Oh, shit.
Really?
No way.
Number 5,
All right.
Episode 2.
All right. Please explain, as Hazel would say, elaborate.
So, I'll get into it a little bit more on my next one. But
Wait, what? Wait. All right. That makes no sense to me.
you'll see. So,
All right.
a good reason as to why I really enjoy this movie is it's a lot of fun.
I agree.
I rewatched a lot of them today just because I was thinking about it, and while I was reading, I just had it in the background.
I like 3
So-
hours, my dude.
As I was watching this one again for the umpteenth time, I don't know, something different hit me, and I was just like, yeah, this is definitely a better movie than they give credit to. There's like, look, I know people have their reservations about the writing, but
Yeah.
honestly,
The movie,
is a
hilarious.
blast. The
It's
movie
so
is a
much fun.
blast.
It's
You will have so much fun watching this movie.
I'll agree with that. I like episode 2. I think the writing is specifically for Anakin's character. Honestly, Anakin's character is really the only problem overall I have with the movie.
Yeah, and I don't.
Also, to go on record, it's not Hayden Christensen's fault. He's
Yeah, not at all.
Lines. He had to do what he had to do.
That's exactly what I was just gonna say. Is it's not his fault.
Yeah.
It's the writers. I don't know what they were trying to do,
The writers, you mean George Lucas?
but it wasn't just George Lucas.
Really? I thought it was.
So I don't know what they were trying to do with that, but it was something.
The movie is so much more fun when you're older, just a meme on it.
I mean, here's the thing: is like Django is. I prefer Django over Boba. So
So do I.
like
I mean-
that whole thing right there in episode 2 is a blast. So you can't really
Boba
even.
ever does, if we're being honest.
Oh yeah, I mean much more than he ever does. So yeah, I mean,
does Django have the what's it called? The death beast. What is it? What's on Boba's armor? That's like a Mandalorian, like his like sigil or something.
oh yeah, the
You know what I'm talking about?
yeah,
it's like Matt,
it's
you know
the
what I'm talking
it's the house. It's the house that he belongs to.
Yeah, it's not a.
I can't remember it at the moment.
It's
'cause
like-
they
it's like some
literally go into it in
crazy-
Rebels.
yeah,
they go nuts in
yeah.
Rebels with it.
It's like the. I don't even remember. It sounds cool, but that we're getting away from the point.
But yeah, Colin, Star Wars Episode 2 is your favorite?
Yeah, I mean,
Or number 5,
like I said,
should say. Number 5.
What?
Like, it's your number 5, not your favorite.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's my number 5. I think the big thing is like it is so much fun.
It is fun.
It does show you a lot about the world where like I feel a lot of the other movies kind of miss out on what's going on in the worlds and just kind of focus on military things.
I agree.
So I think that was fun to like actually go into the world and see what's going on. Yeah, I mean, you know, people say what they say about the writing, but honestly, if you just kind of look past that a little bit and say, hey, I want to have fun, this movie is a great way to have fun.
And to back up what you said about like the world, it's nice to see like more like in the Star Wars world than just shooting the entire time, like just the war, like you said.
Yeah.
No,
yeah,
so
exactly.
so I don't have episode 2 at all on my list. but like I like episode 2. Like I love the entire prequel trilogy more than the entirety of Star Wars. I know that's met with a lot of
Zach, you're gonna be very surprised.
animosity. Here's the thing. I love, especially in episode 2, you really see a lot of Coruscant. You see kind of the environment Coruscant occupies with the speeder chase. You kind of get a feel for Geonosis, sort of, in that like arena setting. Like I mean, after watching Clone Wars, it's not really I don't think it depicts Geonosis in the best way necessarily, but I think the reason I love the first 3 movies, well, the first 3, just original trilogy, is because it is so vast. You see things happening outside of just 4 people on the line. But yeah, I think episode 2 does a really good job.
I think Django's Django's clan is just Clan Fett.
I think his clan is too, but on like Boba Fett's armor, he has the
Death Watch.
Not the Death Watch.
He's not a true Mandalorian. He just has the armor. Pretty sure.
Yeah, I mean technically Boba isn't. Like Django, I would imagine
Boba is.
But like a Mandalorian, as we learned in the Mandalorian, is not a race; it's a creed. Dude.
We learned that in Rebels too.
All right, call me Jamie because I'm looking it up.
I'm pretty sure he's a part of Fett.
No,
but I think you are right. He has like the Death Watch on him. Like it's like that, like elephant mammoth looking skull kind of looking thing.
No, yeah, I don't think that's Death Watch. That's the what does it say? Canon, dude, it's here. Just give me the name. Boba Fett symbol. That's what they're calling it.
See, I'm on the complete opposite end of the spectrum. I think episode 2. There's 2 Star Wars movies that I think are completely unwatchable, and episode 2 is one of them. That movie is really bad. It's really bad, in my opinion, of course.
Well, while Zach looks that up and everything, we'll just continue on to Matt. So, Matt, what is your number 5 pick?
I wasn't done bashing episode 2. That shit is trash.
Trust
No,
me,
go ahead. Hit it. Go ahead. No, please, Matt.
Because like
continue.
the writing is inexcusable. It is like egregious how bad the writing is. 1, and like 2. I mean, nothing happened. Like, the whole Anakin Padme love story is so boring to watch. It's crazy how like this like actually went through and became
it's
a
weird.
motion picture.
Boring.
I mean,
It's
honestly,
so boring. Like nothing
rewatching it
happens.
today.
Here's the thing.
You really don't spend that much time on it,
dude. You get John Green in the room.
You do. It's most of the movie.
Matt,
Most of the movie is dedicated to it.
Dude, you get John Green in that room. They're going like that moment, like that whole series on, like that whole sequence on Naboo, is like gonna be so good. I promise you. Like,
okay, but it's not good,
dude.
It was the fact that it's not good.
You're right, dude. You're right. I mean, you're right.
So it's not good. So most of the movie is therefore not good, like at all.
No,
not
I
even a little
genuinely
bit.
don't think they spend that much time on it, especially after rewatching it
It's
today.
a lot of the movie. It is more of the movie than it should have been.
It's a decent amount. It's what Anakin and Padme are doing, but like,
hell, they spent 25 minutes just chasing down the bounty hunter.
Yeah, what Anakin and Padme are doing is not like the majority of the movie.
Plus, they also do have to touch on it because it's kind of part of the whole point of Anakin not being a Jedi.
And 50% of the time that Anakin and Padme
just
spend
because you touch on it doesn't mean it has to be bad. The whole thing is bad. You can't excuse that it's just horrendously written just because the writing, like, the writing is really bad.
I think the lines that they were given, it wasn't great.
No.
But the structure of the story is perfectly fine.
Yeah, I'm not talking about the structure of the story. I'm talking about the script that George went in the room and wrote down is trash.
All right. I can't argue with that one.
That's my first issue. And my other issue is like most of the movie, like, there's not really any action. Like, I understand they're exploring.
There isn't
and
any
most-
action.
they're
He literally jumps
mostly-
off of a fucking
They're
speeder
mostly setting
through
up
the
for
city
episode 3.
and skydives onto another speeder. There's
That's
an
a very
entire
small
chase
part
of
of
him
the film,
chasing
though.
bounty
Not
hunters.
Very small
They
part
go
of the
into a
film.
club and start searching a club, and then another bounty hunter, which is Django, kills the current bounty hunter. How is that not enough action in the first 30 minutes of the movie?
There's a
It's a
whole
very
war in the
small
last 30
part of the
minutes,
movie.
man.
It's a
There's a
very
whole
small
war in the
part.
last 30 minutes, man.
There's like a literal whole war in that
Yeah,
little
okay,
battle
that's just
arena.
the last 30 minutes.
There's also the entire
30
part where he's chasing
a
down
long time,
Django
dude.
for the like 20 minutes. He's chasing down Django at that
Are
little
we-
area, and they're fighting with Django in that little area on whatever.
Are we just gonna ignore like the entire 2 hours that like Luke, Han, Leia, and Chewbacca sit on the Millennium Falcon and like A New
Yeah.
Hope?
all of them?
We're not talking about A New Hope. We're talking about episode 2.
We're right, but I feel
We're
like
gonna
if that's
do
the
right
case,
now.
you can't say
So
there's
if you
no
want
action.
to divert, we
in
can go and
episode 2.
divert.
Dude,
episode
the
4, but
whole thing with the droid not the droid armory, the droid like manufacturing plant, that's cool. That's action because like Anakin literally gets his arm stuck in a thing, which for some reason isn't how he loses his arm, but that's whatever. Yoda, that's the first fight scene we ever see with Yoda. Ever.
Okay.
And that's a good fight scene. That's a good
That
fight
doesn't
scene.
Yeah, I mean,
does
he
that-
fights.
does that
He
make the movie
fights
good?
Windu.
What does that make the movie?
He fights Windu, you mean Dooku? He fights
Yeah,
Dooku,
did I
his
say
former
Windu?
apprentice.
That's-
His
you know what I
former
meant.
apprentice, which adds more gravity to that fight that the movie doesn't do enough of a job of like display.
So they fight Dooku. They have a whole war. They also have that whole battle arena thing. They've got
You got Padme with her. You got Natalie Portman with the midriff back in the day when midriff was like scandalous to have.
you have the droid manufacturing plant.
You got the
The
droid
midriff.
manufacturing plant.
You
Yeah.
ain't gotta talk to me about that.
You got
I know. I didn't, Matt. I know. I
But
didn't.
you're also ignoring all the parts where Obi-Wan sits in a room and he talks to people, and then the Jedi Council they sit in a
What
room
parts-
and they
what
talk to
parts
each
do
other.
Obi-Wan
And then when
sit in the
Anakin and
room?
Padme are sitting down and they're just talking to each other, like not a whole lot is really happening in this movie.
Dude, but what
Matt,
parts
I'm
are Obi-Wan
skimming
just
through it,
talking
and the
to each
parts
other?
where Anakin and Padme are together, it's less than 5 minutes per,
It's that
per
is
time,
that's
and
not,
it's only
that's not
happened like
true.
3 times.
It's,
I no, no, that's not correct.
It is so true. It is so true.
It's so true if you lie. Then it's true.
Here, right here, 27:44. Padme's gone by 27 by 28. Padme is gone by 28. Literally lasted 20 fucking seconds, and Padme's gone.
It's still a chunk of the film is them exploring their relationship.
It really
It's
isn't.
written really bad. So if it's written really bad, no one wants to watch this movie.
Here's the thing, Matt. Here's the thing, and I think honestly, this is kind of what I got hung up onto.
And also, not to mention the
writing-
whole bounty hunter plot doesn't make any sense. It's so fucking stupid.
What are you talking?
do you mean it
about?
doesn't make any
Django
sense? They're
Fett
trying to
hires
kill
a guy
her.
Who hires a
He
guy?
hires
Who
a
hires a
guy
guy?
who
Hires
hires
a
a guy.
shapeshifter? Who hires a robot? Who hires bugs to kill Padme? What are you talking
Like,
about?
God
Makes so-
forbid
so-
that the main guy actually just shoots Padme and decides that like something actually is gonna happen in this movie because nothing fucking ever happens in this movie. It's so bad.
Yes, nothing. They definitely don't fight the war at the end. There's no
Dude.
Dooku fight. There's no droid factory. There's no
Matt, it's your
chase scene through the city. There's no
Matt, it's your classic hires a guy who hires a guy who hires a guy who has a guy who has a
You
friend
hired
who
this
knows a
guy's
guy who hires a
cousin,
guy.
and then this one thing maybe happened that one time.
All right, it's convoluted. I think Padme should have died immediately. Realistically,
The
with
whole
how
the
good
whole plot
Django
is just
probably-
dumb. When you break it down, it's just really stupid.
I don't
which
think
is like
so.
my main problem with it.
I think. All right, I think the plot. All right, this is what I think Colin is arguing. The plot as a whole and what it could have been, and like as far as like structure goes, it's pretty solid. But I think Matt, you're arguing the way it was executed wasn't fantastic.
No, it wasn't good. Period. I
No,
under-
I think
I
I
understand
think
what Colin's saying.
rewritten.
I agree
think
with him.
rewritten.
agree
I
with
think
Colin.
rewritten and tweaked
Yes,
a
of
bit.
course.
I think the plot's solid. I think you could keep the same arc, the same like type of stuff that's going on, and still have a very solid plot of what's going on. But because of the way it's written,
Yeah, no, I'm
and
fine with that.
it's
I agree
based
with
on
that. I agree with that 100%. But the fact is that's not the case, and you have to judge the movie as it's made. And as it's made, it's really bad. like, like unexcusably bad. Like this movie should not have been made the way it was.
Okay.
Well, with Matt's
mean,
hard
that's fine.
words on Attack of the Clones, we're gonna bring it to
I
Matt.
really don't like Attack of the Clones. I'm
We're-
gonna try and not be this negative. Unless someone brings up episode 9, I will not. I'll try not to go off like that again. But I really hate episode 2, like a lot.
I know you do. I know you do.
Well, Matt, care to share your number 5?
My number 5, it might after going off on episode 2 like that. My number 5 is actually episode 1.
No shit.
It is. I think
No
that movie is
way.
better than
The one without actual action.
That actually is the only one with the least amount
Yeah,
of action.
It is definitely like
Episode 2 has no action, but I'm gonna say number 5 is the one that actually has no action.
okay. Yeah, but episode 5 didn't have really bad love plot in it, and have like just a bunch of really boring shit happening the whole time.
He's still
Oh,
flirting with
man.
Padme the whole time. He's fucking 2 years old.
Dude, he doesn't even know what flirting is. He doesn't know what he's doing yet. He doesn't know what he's doing yet.
He still didn't even know what he was
Oh,
doing.
come on,
when
the
he
whole
was a
scene in the
grown-ass
ship
adult.
where he's literally just flirting with her.
Dude,
And
he's
on
not-
top of
he's
that, whenever
cold.
they're
He's
sitting in the
cold.
little-
He's cold. Dude, he's cold.
Yeah.
He's ice
alone.
cold.
He's chilly. He thinks she's cute. He's discovering what girls
Ice
are. This is the
cold.
point where he's like, I kind of like you and I want to talk to you more. He's not flirting
wanna
yet. He doesn't
talk
know
to
what
you.
flirting is yet. Erica!
I want to talk to you.
Matt, tell us
Erica,
why
who
number
let you
1
out
is
the
episode
bird
1 is your
boy?
favorite. Number 5 is number 1 is your number 5.
It's more of like I don't think episode 1 is amazing. It's more of like it's the one on my list that I hate the least, if that makes sense. And there's also the nostalgia factor. Like I liked it when I was a kid and I didn't know any better. You know what I mean?
When you
You
were
better
your own little Anakin.
Poppin'.
I think it's fine. Like I think it's good. Like I know a lot of people don't like it,
Poppin'.
and like I understand why they don't like it. It's more of like a personal thing for me.
Here's the
I'll
thing, Matt.
tell you what.
I agree with you. It's a really good movie. It's a really fun movie. But
It's
after
definitely
all the shit you just spewed on episode 2, I don't think you really have any more opinion.
Episode 2 is trash. Episode 2 is way worse than episode 1.
If you want to talk about watching the Book of the Hobbit on television, that's episode 1.
Dude, The Hobbit is a way better movie than it is a book. I'll stand and live by
It's
that.
the movie is definitely
Dude,
better, but it
the
still gets
movies
pretty
are so-
boring.
So good.
The
That
book
was
was
the most
terrible.
boring movie I've ever watched in my life.
Dude, wait, what are you talking about? The first one?
The first one.
Yeah, dude, the first. All right, look. Side note: here was my journey with The Hobbit. My brother loves Lord of the Rings, loves The Hobbit. I was never really into it. Hobbit just came out. We got it on DVD. I was like, hey, buddy, let's spend some time together. I'll watch The Hobbit with you. Beginning of the movie, they're sitting in fucking Bilbo's house, and they're like, hey, like, dragon, you're gonna steal a thing from a dragon. I'm like, holy shit, I'm gonna see a dragon. That's awesome. I'm so ready for this. Dude, it's been a minute. I'm watching this movie for a really long time, and it was about like when they were on the mountain and like things were like yelling at them that I was like, wow, it's really been a while. I looked at the clock, I'm like, oh shit, I've been here for 2 hours. I'm not seeing a fucking dragon. This is like a part 2, 3, and 4 type of movie, and I was so disappointed when that happened. I can't even explain to you
Dude.
And
The
then you
fact
had
that they
us
decided
watch
to
it.
break the fact that they
I
decided
didn't
to
have you
break
watch The
up
Hobbit.
the movie
Did I?
or the book
Yes,
into
you did.
3 movies just blows my mind. That book is terrible.
Dude,
I
the
don't
movie's
care.
so
I know it's an
good.
unpopular opinion.
The Desolation
but
of Smog
it's-
is a good movie, dude.
it's
That's a
like-
good movie. I'm
It's
in it.
8
I'm in for it.
chapters of walking, and that's
Dude.
exactly what
Wait,
No,
Episode
Lord of
1
the Rings
feels
is,
like.
is actually really bad.
yeah. All right. This is
I don't care.
off topic. Off topic. This
It is.
People
It's
don't come to hear that.
horrendous.
But my
yeah,
point
no,
is
fuck
that
Lord
the
of the
book
Rings.
the book to me felt like 8 chapters of walking. And although I do really enjoy episode 1 is definitely the most walking version of Star Wars there could be.
No, I mean
Dude.
it's on the lead. It's on my list at number 5 because it's the one I dislike the least. I don't think that it's like particularly amazing. I think it's the least offensive of the ones I like.
Least offensive.
It's the least offensive. I like the off movies would probably be right below this, Rogue One and Solo, but I don't
Rogue
think
One's horrible.
I think the
Rogue One's
nostalgia
so
factor
bad.
puts episode 1 above those movies. Like they're all in the same vein for me. They're not offensive, but they're just like fine. Like episode 2 to me personally is like an offensive movie. Like that movie's like really bad. It's like really bad. And I could go off on the sequels, but I won't for right now.
Yeah, for right now.
Matt, have you watched?
Okay.
Remind me if you've watched Rebels yet.
I have watched
You
Rebels.
did,
I've
you
watched
did.
the entire
I'm the
Okay.
only one in this podcast that has not seen Rebels to its entirety.
That's me too.
So then I'm not going
I've
to be able to
never
talk about
watched
like
it.
half the stuff I need to talk about in order
Probably
to make my
not.
points.
No,
Ron hasn't seen Rebels yet.
Ron hasn't seen anything yet. Realistically,
I haven't watched anything animated.
no, he hasn't. No,
I'm a very casual Star Wars fan. I just
I
watched them
envy
all.
where Ron is because he's on.
Oh, I would
He's
love to
on the
re-experience the whole
glorious
thing
journey.
for the first time again.
Ron is the reason I haven't actually read the Harry Potter books because I like the idea that like there's still this like whole aspect of this universe that I have not experienced. And
Zach,
for me.
I'm going to be real with you. Read the Harry Potter books
Dude.
and read all of the stuff that she puts
Dude.
on her website. There is still so
Her
much
website-
that there is to
Our
explore.
website's solid.
Wait,
I'm not
I'm
gonna lie
confused.
about that.
Why am I the reason you haven't read a book?
You're not the reason.
You can't read.
You're where.
Is it just
You
because
haven't seen Clone Wars, you haven't seen Rebels, you haven't seen all that. You have this glorious journey ahead of you. I haven't read the Harry Potter books. I love Harry Potter. I've seen all the movies, love the story, everything. I have not read the books primarily because I love the idea that I still have this option, this journey of new content
I
for Harry
gotcha.
Potter, even though I know the story.
Okay, that
Yeah.
makes sense. I was like, did I ever disencourage you to read?
No.
I was
Yeah.
like, I'm like,
You're an anti-reading monster.
yeah, I didn't
Yeah, actually, Ron, I haven't read them because of you. I saw you reading that Sly Cooper book, and I'm like, I'm never gonna read another book again until I finish it. And you took it away from me.
I have it on your
So,
book.
like,
I have it
I-
on my bookshelf.
Well,
Terrible
that's great.
person.
But
I wouldn't read.
Zach,
Chumps.
what is your number 5?
Dude, it's about to piss Matt off.
Oh, I'm so hyped.
I know it, Zach. I'm
No,
feeling
you
it.
don't. You don't even know it. No, none of you
Please-
know it. I
please don't tell
guarantee
me
you,
it's
if I bet
episode
$1,000,
9.
none of you would guess it. My number 5. To be here, including all movies with the beginning of Star Wars, is Solo.
Oh no.
I don't think
I
Solo's
was
bad.
expecting
I
something nice.
enjoyed Solo.
No. Solo. I love Solo. I was really hesitant going into Solo, but after watching Solo, I thought it was really good. I thought it was really well put together. It made sense. Like Han's story made sense as to why he did what he was doing. Dude, the cameo with Ron. Have you seen Solo?
We saw it together in the movie theater. Yeah.
Yeah, he saw it with us.
Did we?
Yes.
I didn't
Yeah.
see it with you
That's the
guys.
only way I would have seen it is if I saw it with you
Oh,
guys. I didn't even
that was a
see
long
the other
time
Star
ago
Wars
then.
movies yet. I mean, we saw it when it came out.
Dude, the second, not only the second fucking Darth Maul came into that, but the second it's still Sam Whitaker. I forget his last name. He's a glorious actor. He's in Days Gone for PlayStation.
I know no actor names except for the one I'm about to say.
Dude, the fact that he voiced him was so good. I loved, like, you kind of see Han's like little journey. I don't think it really encapsulates where Han is and how he gets entangled with Luke, but I think it gives a good idea of who he is, what he's doing, why he's doing it, his kind of whole journey of how he becomes a smuggler and a criminal, and then why he kind of has that potential, like that kind of lean towards, I'm in it for me, this is me, I only care about me, but I also will like lean towards the people at times when I so choose. If it like takes a great like person in my life to do that. I think that's cool. Also, Khaleesi, of course, phenomenal performance, great. It's my 5th just because I thought it was a solid movie. I was expecting far less when I went into it, and I got a lot more than I thought it would. So,
No,
yeah.
That's
I
a good
like
reason.
Solo.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's only not on my list because
Solo was good.
Yeah.
it's just a good movie. But like the nostalgia factor of 1 puts it higher on my list personally. I know like a lot of
That's
people
fine.
online like didn't like Solo. And, like that confuses me. Like I feel like it's well made. Like it doesn't have any like the poster child bad movie problems. I think it's just like maybe not what people want.
I think it was the
from a
least
Han
selling
Solo
Star
backstory,
Wars
but I feel
movie,
like it's
too.
fine.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think like maybe people were looking for more of like a I'm a criminal Han rather than
Yeah,
like
I mean like
the-
that would have been really cool to see, but
yeah,
you can't always get what you want, I guess. And
Like
I
the,
think as made, it's fine. Like I
like-
the same with you. Like I went in with very little expectations.
and maybe
Like, I mean,
that's why I
okay.
liked it so much. That could be the reason why I liked it so much. 'Cause
That's
I
probably
really
why I
didn't
enjoyed it
expect
so much
from
too.
it.
I know like a lot of people online didn't like it.
Yeah,
But I feel like
from
I feel
what
like it's
I've
fine as made.
from what I've spoken to, it seems like a lot of the people who didn't like it are the people who are older or like the original trilogy more than the prequels. And
Probably.
maybe it's like an age thing.
It's a generation thing.
Maybe we see Han differently than they do. Who knows? But yeah. Number 5 is Solo. I thought Solo was really good.
I think that's
really
a great
interested to
pick.
see more iterations of Han's journey. But yeah, Childish Gambino. Shout out to fucking Childish Gambino. God damn it.
Yeah. Great.
Great
I
lineup.
love Donald Glover is one of my favorite actors.
He's
a
a
great
great actor.
actor.
He's good at everything he does. He's good at everything he does.
A real Renaissance man.
Exactly.
All right, great pick, Zach. So,
Yeah, dude.
so Matt, how you doing, bud?
Bro, I'm chilling.
You're chilling. You're
I
about
know
to
you
not.
didn't put episode 2. as
You're
number
n-
5
you're
on
about
your
to
list.
not be chilling.
What the fuck did you do, bro?
So,
what did you just do?
my number 5 pick is Attack of the Clones.
No!
Ron, I love you, man.
Ron,
you're the
Let
best.
me chat. Let me tell you something. Ron's list is my most anticipated list for this entire thing because Ron is nowhere near as invested in Star Wars from like a young age as me,
Any of
Matt,
us.
Colin have been. And like I love this new take and like on his whole like he's only you finished it with less than a year. You finished all of the Star Wars.
Yeah.
I
So
love it.
yeah.
And
So
please go ahead.
No,
Talk to me about episode
Well,
2.
real
Mike,
quick, just so Chad has a bit more backstory. The first, so like when I was a kid, my family would just sometimes have like Star Wars up, probably on like FX on the TV. All I knew about the original trilogy before I actually watched them was you need to have the high ground, and that's about it. That's all I knew. And so the first Star Wars movie I actually saw in theaters is Episode 7 because that was just the biggest hippin' and hoppin' thing going on in life, and we saw movies like every weekend or whatever new movie came out. Matt is throwing stuff right now.
That is not me.
But I
Definitely not me. I had my mic muted.
So I pretty much just had this list is just completely different from everyone else's. But whenever I actually started watching all the movies, it was Zach's favorite day of his entire life because he's just been trying to get me to watch them. I just never wanted to. But
Yeah, for sure.
Episode 2 I put as my number 5. Honestly, because I had such a good time watching it with everybody because it was so like hilariously
Nah, man. Nah.
he wasn't there. It was so hilariously funny because of how bad the script was written. And it was such a fun movie to watch. I just love like the origin of it, bringing it into like prequel memes on Reddit, and I just saw I enjoy that I can actually get the references and stuff like from the movie and
I
everything.
love prequel memes.
But just in general,
Reddit.
like I don't know, like it wasn't I don't think it was a terrible movie, but it was definitely just fun to watch and just laugh at. Like just being a full-grown adult watching it for the first time, you can pick out everything that's just not great about the movie. But you can just see, like, it's still a really good movie. IMO. I did like all, like, the Yoda fight, at the end. I felt it was a little rushed at the end. That's, like, my biggest complaint with it, but,
Like,
I mean...
like you mean the movie in general at the end?
The movie at the end I felt was like a really quick finish.
I would
Okay.
agree with that.
Yeah.
It was
I can-
very
I can see that
awkward.
argument.
It just felt awkward. It was just like, hey, we just did this. All right, cut. And then it was just like that whole ending was just like we're gonna pick up next time on Dragon Ball Z type stuff. Like, wasn't a fan. But yeah, the movie
Finishing on next time.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Well, the movie in general though I just liked. I enjoyed it. For completely different reasons as to why Colin likes it, but kind of in the same sense of it. I just enjoyed it. I did like the world. That like chase scene in the beginning was awesome. I did really like that.
Dude, I love Coruscant. I love, dude. It gives you such a. It's so active. It's so interesting, and it's so big, you know. And especially like, I know like it's not really in the conversation, but Clone Wars expands on more on like the fucking like, society of Coruscant, like the what's the word? Not socioeconomic. Is that the word?
Socioeconomic, yeah.
Socioeconomic like rankings of Coruscant, of like the lower level, the mid level, and like the upper levels of Coruscant, like that you never even understand like watching the movies, but we're deteriorating from the.
But yeah, that's why episode 2 is my number 5. I was happy to at least get to mess around with Matt. I was so happy when Colin said it was his number 5 too. So
Here, hold on.
I didn't want him blowing up on me.
Yeah,
Right? Am I right, chat? Are you looking something up, Colin? Or
Am I right? Chad?
Oh, I'm done skimming the movie.
you skimmed the
Let's see.
entire movie?
Yeah. So we got.
We've been recording for 30 minutes, and I think we've been like live.
Guys, I'm scared.
Wait, so should we not transition to you, Colin, or are you still about to pop something about episode
I'm about
2?
to pop something.
Okay.
Pibbity pop. Call it a cherry.
Bibbidi bop.
Wow. Okay, Zach. Thanks for your input.
I was waiting for something from someone.
Okay, so let's see. We got 2, 1, 1, 3, 1.
Well,
Point
number
five.
Matt, while Colin is saying numbers, do you have any
2,
input
1.
on my choice?
I said everything I need to say on episode 2.
You don't
I
wanna-
like it, Ron. I'm kind of happy that it's your 5th. I'm curious to see what your other rankings are for everything else.
I'll just give a spoiler.
Hold on. Have you seen Rogue One, Ron?
I have not seen Rogue One.
Okay, so it's not going to be on your list anywhere.
Right.
It can't be.
It can't be. That'd be
Okay.
kind of
Okay.
weird, champ. Yeah.
All right. I mean, you're right. Yeah.
Okay,
For sure.
Hit me
Now-
with it, Colin.
if we exclude the scenes where Anakin is forced to be with Padme just for rescuing and all that other garbage that happens.
His job. All right.
Yeah, like if Anakin isn't doing his job and instead is just spending time with Padme, we got what? I said that, so 1, 2, 3. We have 20 minutes of Anakin being with Padme in a 2-hour and 30-minute movie. And that's
It's
not
a long
even
one.
and all of that 2 hour or 20 minutes isn't even them building their relationship. It's just because they have to stand next to each other in a subway and stuff. So even less of that,
Subway.
is time where they're- it's
Yeah,
whatever that you
rush
want to call
hour.
it, their tram. So they spend less than 20 minutes together, and only a few of those scenes, the longest scenes were the ones where they actually built a relationship, and that was 9 minutes total.
Okay.
So 9 minutes out of a 2-hour and 20-minute, 30-minute movie did Anakin and Leia, or why did I say Leia? Padme decided that they were going to build a relationship. So Matt, your argument is dumb.
Okay, well, it's still really bad, even if it doesn't take up as much as I had anticipated.
That was a lot of nerd talk for just a quick smack.
Maybe
Well, no,
it
he
feels
said they
like,
spent,
maybe it
he
feels
said
like
they
it lasts
spent
that
so much time
longer.
together, and I was like, they really didn't, and they actually didn't. They spent 9 minutes actually alone together. The rest of it was
It must
action
feel- it
things
must
where he
feel
had
like
to
they
protect
spent more
her.
time because it's really bad.
Yeah, I just think that you felt that there was more time there, bud.
All right. All right.
Anyway,
Colin!
Colin,
All
hit
right.
us with your number 4.
My number 4 is episode 6.
Episode 6.
Really?
So-
Tell us why.
This is where I'm going to get into one thing. The reason I was happy that we expanded it to Solo and Rogue One
Mhm.
is because I really hate Mark Hamill.
What?
Wait,
Dude,
what?
Mark Hamill
dude,
is not
dude,
only a terrible actor, but also
dude.
a terrible voice actor.
We're
Dude,
trying to get people
okay,
to follow the
alright,
channel.
alright.
Wait.
What
Are
are
we
you doing?
actually being serious?
Okay, are you?
Yes.
You're telling me the Joker is not good? The Joker.
Mark Hamill, that is the
Dude.
only thing he can do.
What?
That is the only thing he
What?
can do.
Wait, are you like actually serious?
I am dead serious. I cannot stand Mark Hamill. He drives me insane every movie
Dude.
I've ever seen him in. I hated him even in Avatar. I couldn't stand it because his voice was just the fucking
As
Joker.
Fire
I
Lord
fucking
Ozai?
hated it.
Oh
he was
my
the
God.
Joker, but Fire
Dude,
Lord Ozai.
Dude, okay, all right. Listen, Colin. Let me tell you something right now. One, I understand kind of what you're saying because I pick his voice out of anything I see him in.
Good.
It's the only thing he can do is
But
Joker.
all right, no, it's not. No, Joker isn't the only thing he can do. He can also do like a Fire Lord Ozai voice. That isn't
Fire Lord Ozai
necessarily-
is the Joker. Sorry.
No, that's not
He
true.
really is. It's the exact same voice, the exact same mannerisms. He can't do anything
Alright.
else. He's not talented.
No, oh, okay.
There's
Dude.
my opinion is backed up so much online. It is not even funny.
Dude.
Good
He's
for
not a
you and your
talented
people
guy.
online who are
But,
all
here,
wrong.
but here's
People are allowed to be wrong.
here's what I'm saying
you.
though, is like it is hard with all the Jokers. It is hard to be the Joker. Does that make sense? Like he is.
No,
he's
Mark
he's
Hamill is
not.
the best Joker.
He's the
not
best
the
Joker to ever
Joker.
touch the
It's not
game.
close.
He's the
It's
best
not close
Joker to
either.
touch the
Not
game.
even
There's
remotely
no contest.
Not even
No
remotely
contest.
close.
I
even
can't.
for a
I
second.
can't. Colin, as someone, yeah, as someone who's well versed in Batman.
I love Heath Ledger to death.
Dude,
But
Heath Ledger's
not
good.
Mark
He's good for film. He's good for
He is
film.
good.
And
He
you
was
know
a
what?
great Joker, but he was not Mark
He
Hamill.
was no, dude. No,
I will give him credit. He did a good Joker. That's it.
That was a good Joker, consistently. Yes.
That is it. Everything else that he does is just the Joker with a twist, and it's the same damn thing. Fire Lord Ozai is just the Joker
Dude,
with a little bit more of a dark
I
voice.
hear it.
I'm gonna have to say Cap.
Look, all right. Look, I love as much as I love this man and I love his Joker. I can't
Sir
deny
Cap-
the fact that I know for a fact every time I hear him in anything, I know it's him. I know it's him. I'm really conflicted.
So,
now.
Episode 6, I
could
think
not
is really
disagree
good.
more.
Yeah, tell
I
us,
really
tell us
enjoy
why
episode 6.
you enjoyed episode 6 besides that outlandish statement.
I think it's the only time Mark Hamill did a somewhat decent job in all the Star Wars movies he's
Dude,
ever
you
been
mean
in.
when he said, I'm a tap out, you guys deal with it?
Yeah, because he
What?
wasn't in it that much. So I enjoy it because one, we at least see like a lot more with Darth Vader going on. Because I like Anakin.
Emotionally, I agree. Anakin's the best character in all the universe, let's be honest.
I really don't like on it. I'm just gonna be honest with you. Most of the scenes that Luke is in, I am not having fun. Everything else I'm having fun on.
Dude, Luke's boring. All right.
Luke is a very
So-
boring character.
I enjoyed episode
Luke's
6.
fun.
I liked it a lot because Luke was barely in it. And compared to the other two,
I didn't realize
like
there's so much Luke slander in this Discord call.
I can't stand Luke. I can't stand Mark Hamill, but that's just
I'm
me.
not a fan of Luke. It has nothing to do with who portrays Luke at all. But that's a whole different topic for a whole different podcast.
But everything else in that movie was fantastic. I like in the original trilogy, I really like watching Han Solo do stuff with Chewbacca.
Dude, yeah.
I don't think anybody can say otherwise. I mean, here's the thing. Han Solo said, "I'm going to shoot at fucking Darth Vader."
Yeah. I mean, well, I don't know who wouldn't in the situation, granted that they were in.
Everybody wouldn't. He literally does what he does.
I mean, but at that point, like, nobody knows who Darth Vader is. Darth Vader was like, he's like the covert black ops motherfucking guy. Like, you like, nobody knows he even exists outside of like the highest ranking generals in the.
It's pretty weird if you go back and rewatch like episode 4. Like Vader's like kind of a bitch.
Yeah.
They don't do
Like, he has
anything
to
in
answer
any
all
of
the
those,
fire
if
ups
we're
at the
being
Death Star.
honest. But
This is a whole side note. Have you guys ever seen the videos of the actual like guy who was in the
Yeah, I
suit?
have.
Dude.
They're hysterical.
Dude, they're awesome.
They're so funny.
It's just some Scottish asshole yelling at people.
That dude was like really mad at George because they
I bet.
redubbed all his lines.
I mean, I bet, but like, what did he expect? He had to know when he was just allowed to say whatever the fuck he wanted, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of did.
But
I had a lot of
Colin.
fun. I think it gave a lot more in on what Anakin was doing. You know, like it definitely, and you get to see Anakin come back and be the return of the Jedi. You know, like that's what I really liked was
He's the chosen one that he is.
There is so much to that movie that doesn't involve Luke that makes me happy.
You're making me mad, Zach.
But that is the last time that any of the original trilogy is going to be in this list because I cannot stand Mark Hamill.
Man, if you have a problem,
I don't understand why how you could not like him. That's so weird to me.
I like
Mark
him.
Hamill.
Out of nowhere.
His voice is just. I can't stand it. I cannot stand his voice. Then his face just like Mark Hamill. I'm sorry, man. I know we all have people that we don't like, but there's just something about you that it doesn't rub me the right way. And I'm sorry that I'm saying all this about you, but it's the truth, and that's why I can't watch some of those films more often.
Mark Hamill will cry away. He'll wipe away his tears.
About what you just said.
You'll never know. He might. You never know.
Mark Hamill, if the grace of God is allowing Mark Hamill to listen to this podcast, I guarantee he grabbed the Disney bank that he has to the right side of his bed and wiped tears away from his face.
Dude,
here's
Mark,
the thing:
I think he's fine. Mark, if you're listening to this, I cannot even explain to you how much I love your Joker. You are fantastic.
I will sit down with Mark Hamill. I will have dinner with him. I'll have a beer with him. It doesn't matter. But honestly, I just can't stand his acting.
You just told him. You just said to Mark Hamill, you don't like his. You just told him that you don't like his face. Do you think he's gonna have a beer with you?
That's fine. No, he doesn't have to be. He doesn't have to. But what I'm saying is, like, I'm sure you're a good person, but your acting is not something that I enjoy.
I mean, you know what?
Damn. Well, hopefully, Matt.
I gotta say it. I gotta say Cap.
Mark Hamill, you're really welcome to come on. I will praise you as much as you deserve. I promise.
Well, Matt, the transition to you. What is your number 4 pick?
My number 4. It's as if I drew it up this way. It is episode 4.
Interesting.
I really enjoy episode 4.
Is it because you really enjoy Mark Hamill?
I mean, I like Mark Hamill. I don't know where all this Luke slander is coming from. I think Luke's one of the characters that I enjoy watching the most. I feel
Luke is great. You're cutting out, bud.
Watching his journey from like every D&D character ever. Oh my god, Discord's such a quality program. Am I still bad?
No, you're good now.
You're fine now. Say what you said after Mark Hamill.
I hate Discord for everyone watching, like listening. Discord is trash, but you have to use it because it's what people use nowadays. I really like Luke, like as a character. I think he's one of my more favorites. Like if I had to rank my favorite Star Wars characters, he's definitely like.
Yeah, you're cutting out again, Matt. He's definitely what? Wow.
Join the chat back. Okay, I'm gonna say what I was gonna say about Luke real quick. I think Luke is fantastic in the extended universe. Like all the things where Mark Hamill doesn't touch him, he's perfect. But in the main movies, they wrote Luke so weird. He isn't as much fun as he is in the extended universe. And I get people say, "Oh, well, he's just growing up and he's learning lessons." No, he's not that much fun in the movies compared to the extended universe. And honestly, a little bit of like the fact that they still like theme him after Mark Hamill too much still turns me off because I just don't like Mark Hamill. I'm sorry, it just happens. It's the truth.
Is Matt back?
I mean, I'm here.
Okay.
I didn't think it was written that weird in the
I don't know. I mean, here's the thing.
He's sort of styled after like every D&D protagonist ever created. I feel like it's like pretty fun.
Dude, all right. Look, this is it, right? Mark Hamill, like I'm not even talking about Mark Hamill. Luke is just a general ass basic hero's journey that there ever is.
Yeah.
You know, the whatever, you know, we learned about this in 12th grade English, the hero's journey. And if you're curious about it, look it up. Every fucking box Luke ticks. I love Anakin because I think Anakin has so much more depth to him. There's a lot more motivations outside of just, oh, I'm set. Like I expected more in my life, and that's what I want. You know, there's a lot more. Again, that's a whole different I could do a whole
and here's the thing is like
hour-long conversation about
it's not
Anakin.
that if we're talking about everything
I don't know
Star
if
Wars
it's really
has
fair
to
to
offer,
compare them, though. To be honest,
I think it is.
it is.
I think it
I don't
because
definitely
think so.
is.
Who are you gonna compare? Who? All right.
Well, they're
original
well, 'cause
trilogy.
they're not written to be the same character. Like they're not
But-
filling the same role. Like
I think
they're like
think
the,
they're definitely
they're like
filling
the
the same role.
protagonists, but
Absolutely
like
are.
Luke
Absolutely.
Luke is styled to be a different character than Anakin.
I mean, yeah, but at that point, it's like everyone's a different person than everyone.
He's
I
still
think,
he's
like,
still
as
the main
far as, like,
protagonist
main
of the story.
yeah, I think as far as main characters go and like why people do things, like Luke does things because Luke feels an obligation of like that general heroic. I want to be good, and this is what I'm told is good, so this is what I'm going to do. Whereas Anakin kind of has to make a lot more difficult decisions because in the beginning, Anakin does what he feels is good and what he's told is good and what he has learned to be good. But as we see, as we progress through everything else, Anakin starts to question what is good? Why is good good? Like, is this really what it is good? And he starts to question really what morality is and how things operate. And like, if the Jedi, like historically, Jedi are good, Sith are bad. Jedi are good, everything else is bad. Whatever the Jedi do, that's good because they're in the pursuit of goodness. That's what they want to do. But he gets to a point where he's like, I don't think the Jedi are doing the good thing. We're not Jedi anymore. We don't stand for what we used to stand for. And that is what he has to struggle with. Whereas Luke is hyped up to the fact that the Jedi are good. They've always been good. They've been fucking fantastic. And then this asshole just killed them all named Darth Vader. Like, what the fuck? Like, and I think that's what Luke strives for. And Luke strives because, he's like, Jedi are good. This is what the good path is. I'm going to stick on this path. And that's what he does throughout the entire, like, movie episodic thing that you see. That's why I think Luke is just a boring character because he has the idea of what good is, pursues it, and then becomes it, which is fine. I mean, that's fine if that's what you're looking for. But I think that as far as depth goes, Anakin has far more depth in the fact that he's not only pursuing good, but he's challenged in his general thought of what he was taught throughout his life as to what good is. And he has to make his own decision on what he thinks is good. And he has to have those gray areas that
I think the
never
problem
has had to deal with.
Is Luke he's a child, if I'm just being honest. He's a child until the end of episode 5, and then all of a sudden he grows up like instantly for episode 6.
Yeah, and there's a lot of time that passes, right? There's like a few years that pass that Han's like...
It's a year between 5 and 6.
He just instantly grows up in like
a while ago.
It's just, I don't know. I don't like... Here's the thing, is I like Luke in the extended universe, like playing all the games, reading the comics and stuff that come out. Like, it's a lot of fun watching Luke. But if we're just talking movies, Luke is extremely boring. And I know I'm going to piss off everybody who's over the age of like 35, but I genuinely don't care.
No.
I mean, you've already said Mark Hamill is a bad actor, so...
saying that.
Bad. Like,
No, we know you're not saying Anakin is bad.
Character, but they're not written to be the same thing. Like,
well, no, but Luke was written to be boring as shit.
No. You're not letting me listen. You're not letting me explain myself. Anakin was written because they had to explain how he transitions into Darth Vader. So obviously he's going to be more in depth. There's more area for Anakin to explore in the sense that, like, he is a Jedi. What are the Jedi doing? What's happening? Like, Anakin is the lens, is like the filter that we see the world in the prequels.
You're right.
Well, honestly, you're right in the sense of whenever he decided to start writing 1, 2, and 3. The difference is whenever he wrote episode 4, 5, and 6, he wasn't necessarily thinking, like, he was, but it's not like he was sitting there thinking, oh, you know, this is what Anakin Skywalker is. Instead, he was thinking, I just want to tell a great tale. And Luke really was supposed to be the hero, and he's a really boring hero.
Well, I really don't think he's boring.
I think he's
All right,
very boring.
We got away from the fact whose thing.
This
was
is
it?
Matt's. This is
Colin's
Matt's
mine.
number 4.
This is Matt's 4. Matt, what was your 4? New Hope.
It was
A New Hope.
It was A New Hope. Yes.
Why was New Hope? All right, I'm probably gonna have to edit all this out. But Matt, why was New Hope number 4? Because we got so off topic. And if you guys are interested genuinely in hearing why our debate on Luke and Anakin and why we think one or another is better, I'm more than happy to cut that out and even have a separate podcast for that. And like that'll be like a bonus
leave it in.
episode.
It's fine.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with it.
I was good at it.
No, for sure. I mean, like it just depends how it flows. Because honestly, listening to it, it's very interesting and talking about it. But at the same time, someone who is a listener might not find it that way. But Matt, please tell us why New Hope is your number 4 pick and what it does for you, basically. And
it's a really fun movie. It's everything I want out of a Star Wars film. Honestly. Okay. Like I feel like there's
like ideally like if you could rank like a scale, like what are you looking for out of a Star Wars movie?
Well, I want it to be like it has to be like fun, well made, have like some cool action scenes.
Can you give me an example of each of those?
I really like movies that I really like just the expansion of the Star Wars universe in general. Granted, this is the first time technically that we've seen the Star Wars universe, so it's not really expanding. But it's like a really awesome introduction to the movie.
How so?
Well, I mean, just like the opening shot is just insane. Like with the Star Destroyer and it's coming in, the way it's coming into frame, like that's an iconic shot, and just tells you everything you need to know about what you're getting into.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I like all of the Star Wars movies very equally. I know Matt has a very different opinion on all of that, but I definitely don't think A New Hope is as fun as many of the others, in my opinion. I think the difference between me, Zach, and Matt is that I don't really understand what Matt's looking for. I think that's just going to take a deeper look into Matt. But I think me and Zach are just looking for genuine Star Wars fun. Like things that just, if you hear Star Wars, you immediately think like lightsabers, you think the Force, you think ships, you think drama, and that's what I'm going for. And I'm not saying New Hope doesn't have that stuff, but when we talk about like that little Obi-Wan and Darth Vader scene that could have been so much better.
All right.
It was let's push, done. Okay.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. All right. That's
very much a production of the times.
Yeah.
I don't think that's very fair.
Yeah, that's the problem.
If any of you have not seen, any of the listeners have not seen the like recreation of what that fight could have been, go into YouTube, type in Obi-Wan Darth Vader like fight recreated or like new fight or something like that. You will find it.
It's cool. But the problem is it wasn't the original vision. Because it's just a fan service. We'll never know what the original vision is, but right now what we know is the most original vision is what we saw.
But
like, and it wasn't very grand.
That was made in technology wasn't built. Like, they didn't have the capability of making that type of.
That's not a fair.
Yeah, they didn't
thing to put on the film.
Technology of making like that type of like.
I'm not saying it had to be like shit flying everywhere and like they're cutting things in half. But the fact that the fight is less than a minute, it just kind of felt very underwhelming for something that it could have been.
I mean, I agree with you, and I chalked it up just the time it was made. Like the time it was made. Like,
yeah, but 1977, there's still quite a bit of stuff going on in 1977.
Not to the level that we get with the newer movies.
I'm not saying it needs to be Avengers level quality, but all I'm saying is a fight scene that's like a minute long isn't really a fight scene. It's more just like a plot.
Yeah, I have to chalk it up to the time. That's my only cop out for like the old movies. Is like that's honestly my cop out, even for the prequels. Arguably, is at the time that it was made.
Oh yeah, no, that's why I say the
definitely
prequels are still really
impacts
good.
its quality.
But these are my reservations that I have with the prequels is that like the new movies and the new TV shows have, and I think it's just because of the evolution, have done such a better job at capturing what Star Wars is than those original. Like I think
yeah,
not
I
Attack of the
for
Clones, but I
sure.
think
No.
Clone Wars definitely like completely captures Star Wars, and then
Well,
like if they only released that, people would be like, "This is Star Wars," and I completely understand.
yeah, I
everything
mean,
now.
absolutely, because like without like genuinely without Jedi, like Star Wars is just some like assholes waging war and being political about like stuff, you know? Like I think Jedi are truly what makes Star Wars different from every other science fiction, which is like my belief. They shouldn't have went forward after episode 6 for the new series. They should have went backwards, because like when the Jedi are at their prime and like doing all the stuff, like that is the most interesting.
They're doing a new comic series about that.
Like it is just interesting. It's interesting. Like the whole ideology of the Jedi, like the religion, if you want to call it a religion, all that stuff. Yeah, that's cool.
All right, we're getting really far off
for
topic.
sure.
So Matt, that's your number 4. We're gonna go to Zach for your number 4. Where do you stand? What's your number 4 ranking?
My number 4 ranking, and I know for a solid fact, is going to infuriate Matt. It is episode 8, The Last
Are you
Jedi.
for real?
That's a good one.
Oh my God.
No, that's a good pick.
I'm not a fan of that movie.
That movie's not very good.
I have so many problems with episode 8. As far as what goes on with the movie in general. But really what truly does put it on my number 4 is the fact of when I saw episode 8 twice the day it came out.
Hold on. Stop. Can you guys hear each other?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Zach, you saw Star Wars 2 times the day it came out?
Yeah, so I saw Star Wars when the day it came out. I saw it twice. I saw it with our friend Tyler. And then right preceding that, it ended. Got my car. I drove to a separate movie theater and saw it with my uncle and my 2 cousins. And the opening night, seeing that movie twice, I was glued in. I was locked in for the entire thing, and it was glorious. Like when the ship goes through the Star Destroyer, and it in the theater, it was just dead silent. The first time there was no noise. It was the first time I think at a movie theater I've never heard anything like. It was almost like having noise cancellation headphones on. The second time, dead silent except for one guy who said, "Oh fuck." Shout out to that guy. The fight scene with Kylo and Rey with the Imperial Guards, great, dude. I love that fight scene. That was so cool. It's number 4 purely out of that aspect alone. I have so many problems with the movie. I think there was a lot of things they could have changed, could have said, could have did, but it is the first time I walked away from a Star Wars film in theaters in my lifetime that I aside from Clone Wars, if you want to count that, like the original movie, but that I walked out and I was like, wow, that was fucking awesome.
Oh yeah, side note. I don't know if you guys have rewatched the Clone Wars movie, but it does not hold up.
No, it doesn't.
That movie is not very good.
No, you're right. It's
So fun.
If you remove the pointless casino plotline from episode 8, it's really not that bad.
But you know what? Like
That part that really like grinds my gears.
yeah, it doesn't it doesn't, but like it also adds to the world. It does everything that the other that 4, 5, 6 doesn't do for me, and it builds the world. It explains more that hey, there's other shit going on throughout this galaxy than just these
Well,
people doing
the
this
point
thing.
of 4, 5, and 6 wasn't to expand the world, but that's a whole different
Yeah.
Right.
conversation.
I mean, yeah.
So I think my biggest thing is like I have reservations about every Star Wars film. And like I think my biggest one with the original ones, as we've covered already and we've already heard.
I know
But
you hope Mark Hamill dies. You want him
I don't hope
crucified
Mark Hamill
for
dies.
his crimes
I just
against
don't
humanity.
I don't like his acting, and that's just me. I'm sure there's plenty of people that really enjoy his acting, just like you guys, but I don't enjoy his acting. But other than that, I enjoy every single Star Wars film because I understand that writers, I understand that producers, I understand that actors are not perfect.
I mean,
And
nobody's perfect.
I think
We're gonna
expecting
learn it.
like a lot of these people I think are getting spoiled with the Avengers films and stuff being like just so massive and like just they literally try to perfect everything. There's even like small things that I've caught up where like they even have the correct you know like instead of how Iron Man will walk around with just his shoulders on and a mock helmet on, in a soda can his reflection like completely mocks what it's supposed to be. Like they've caught every single detail.
Yeah,
And I
it's
think
just
people are getting
continuity.
very spoiled by that.
I mean, I don't know if that's really being spoiled by it. I mean, I can kind of get that, but that's like comparing like Last of Us 2 and Red Dead 2 detail to a game like I don't know.
Last of Us 1.
Yeah, like I guess like Last
But
of Us 1
I
or something.
think a lot of people, especially, I mean, I would say the nerd community is very
Maybe comparing
critical
it to
of
like
the
Outer
things.
Worlds or something.
Well, I guess the response to that would be:
Dude,
should we
oh,
not
never mind.
should we not expect the same level of quality from all of the films that we watch?
I don't think that we should, just because not everybody has the same budget as Disney's Marvel films.
No,
I mean, does
understand
Disney's
that,
Star
but
Wars films
in
not have a
the-
similar budget?
I don't think they do, considering.
I don't know about that one, Chief.
I would argue that they might have even more of a budget.
I would
But
say
I
it's
think-
close, if not.
I think
more.
no matter what, all right. I think no matter what, at the end of the day, when you're paying money to go see something, when you're paying money to go do something, you are expecting the absolute best that this creator, this whatever, could create and do. So like yes, you like I think the Avengers definitely, like the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe definitely set a tone as to what's expected. But if I'm being honest, on a topic that's on a topic for another topic of another show, there's a lot of flops in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
There are more
but,
flops than people care to recognize.
Like
Yeah.
yeah. Like I think you expect the best, and like I think with Star Wars, arguably, like this is like something like I said about like the new Skyrim. I think the hype is so big that like it. How can you follow up what you can't? You can't.
Well, that's what I was going to get into. Is that I think the nerd community is so hypercritical because we all truly enjoy those things, and we have these crazy arguments between each other like we are now because we love it so much
Yeah.
and we expect so much from it, and it's hard to deliver all of those things. And I think that's why I'm a lot more forgiving on the things like Anakin's writing or like some of the reservations people have about the newest trilogy, because the new trilogy, they did say we're wiping the slate clean. All the expanded universe doesn't exist except for XYZ. But I think people have reservations. They want it to be their way, and they get sad and upset whenever it's not. And don't get me wrong, I was sad and upset with certain things in the new trilogy, but that's because I was like, I wanted it to be something that it clearly wasn't.
Sure.
And that's kind of I think a lot of people don't realize that, like, hey, we get that you watch the original trilogy in theaters, but these movies are still great if you just watch them for Star Wars.
Maybe, I think.
My reservations with 8 more so stem to what happened in episode 9 and where they took the ending of episode 8. I think when I watched episode 8, it was like okay.
Yeah,
Like I thought it was much longer than it probably should have been. Like when I watched it in the theater, I was like, okay, can we wrap this up? Like this is taking a long time. Like
like I
they
said,
really should have been like half an hour
the
shorter.
primary reason I have episode 8
It committed the cardinal sin for me. If I'm watching a movie and I'm asking myself, when is this over? I really didn't like that movie. That's like the biggest offense for me if I'm trying to watch something.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair. But yeah, no, like a pure reason it is my number 4 is because of the way I felt. I've never felt that good about a Star Wars movie leaving the theater, and I understand its problems. There's a lot of fucking problems, believe me.
Before episode 9 came out,
but
I thought it was just like okay, like it wasn't amazing. I had my problems with it, but like it wasn't like offensive. It's not like offensively bad.
Yeah,
it's not like episode 2 where you could like do like a 1 hour dissection of like how objectively terrible this movie is, and like it's shot really bad and it's really boring and the writing sucks. No, like
sure,
Disney made sure that like all the bases were checked as far as production value. Like it looks great, it's written well, it's cast, all the actors do a great job.
Unless a lot of Disney seal
one of the people online who hate Rose, I feel like Rose was fine. The script for her wasn't very good. And like we see that in episode 9, what they did with Rose, and I really feel bad for the lady who portrayed her. But it's not offensive. I mean, if you told me that you really liked episode 8, I mean, it is what it is. It's not offensive. It's just good.
I think
it's fine.
With a lot of people's complaint, and the major one I see, and I don't want to burst your bubbles, everybody, but whenever Disney took it over, they said, "Hey guys, we are wiping the slate clean. The only thing that matters is the movies. Everything else is just like myth." Basically.
Yeah, I don't like that very
While
much.
I don't necessarily agree with it, what you have to remember is whenever they change Luke Skywalker, you kind of have to deal with it. Sorry to burst your bubble, but Luke Skywalker isn't the same one that you've come to know, and that's just because they now have the rights to the story and they're changing it up to fit what they want. Now, you can be upset just like I am that all of that doesn't matter now, because I've spent tons of times playing things like the Republic games, and I remember even on my GameCube, I went out and bought all kinds of those games. I've read the comics, and those are so much fun. But you have to remember that Luke Skywalker isn't the same Luke Skywalker that you have and that you remember. And whenever they change him, you cannot be that upset with the fact that, oh, this isn't my Luke Skywalker, so these movies suck. Like, too bad. Sorry.
I think that's an element. Luke is handled extremely bad in episode 8. I really
don't know.
do not like Luke at all.
I'm fine with it.
I
don't love it,
but you know what? Like,
not even a little bit. I think a lot of it is because of the reason you said, Colin. The sequel trilogy is not what I wanted.
Yeah,
from a Star Wars sequel trilogy.
I think the reason
I'm fine with not getting what I wanted, but I could go on for an hour about how I hate the sequel trilogy. But I think I'll save it in case someone brings it up later.
Yeah, I mean, you're definitely gonna hear more. I just think a lot of people they heard, oh, we're gonna do a fan service from Kathleen Kennedy, and then they got really upset whenever it didn't deliver on what they wanted. Meanwhile, what they were saying was, we are going to do the thing that all of them have done and just cookie cutter it, and I still enjoy it. And I know so many people are upset because they're like, oh, they added this thing into a movie and like it didn't exist before. And it's like, well, technically nothing exists in the Star Wars universe until they write it in. Sorry to burst your bubble.
I mean, just because saying, oh, it's their story, they can do whatever they want. I don't think that really excuses if something's like written bad.
No, but whenever they change the writing and it's still completely fine and you just don't like the writing, I don't know what to tell you. I guess you just don't like Star Wars anymore the way they're writing it. But if the writing is fine and you just don't like the direction they went, there's nothing wrong with it. You know what I mean?
I just don't think that's a good argument.
I mean, it's honestly no. Like, it's at the end of the day, like we all have our opinions on the sequel series, and like we're also not talking about ranking the series. We're talking about the shows, and like, all right. So my pick for number 4 it is episode 8, I love episode 8, just purely for the reason that what it filled me with after seeing it and leaving the theater. I'm aware of the problems, but you know what? I'm ignoring those. But yeah, that's my number 4.
I choose to ignore these problems because I like it. Who's up next, Ron?
Yeah, I'm going. So my number 4. Just really on number 4. My God. Okay, my number 4 is episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back. I chose number 4 just because I really liked the Yoda and Luke side of the movie. Sorry, there's a bus driving by. The Yoda and Luke side of the movie, like with the training and everything, getting Luke ready just for like what's to come, and then there's really
episode 4.
He's talking about episode 5. Chief. He's talking about
Okay, I'm sorry. For number 4,
four,
is episode 5.
yeah.
Okay, all right. I'm
Dagobah system.
my fault.
I just think it's a good lead up to the final movie.
I mean, I love episode 5.
Yeah, I think episode 5 is really
Yeah,
good.
Episode 5 is the snobs number 1.
Yeah.
Like it's very well made. I think it's like more unique as far as like how the Star Wars films are like paced and written, if that makes sense.
I
Like
think
there isn't another Star Wars movie that really feels like it captures Empire.
I think in the sense of twos, like the whole idea is that like if if the second movie of any series is bad, then this one is like it's. I think what episode 4 does is sets up a world, and episode 2 expands on it and then increases the knowledge of the viewer on that world through Yoda and Luke and their whole training. Like I think that Luke being away makes sense. Luke not being with Leia, Han, and everyone, it makes sense because Luke's doing his own thing to hopefully better everything overall. Whereas in other episodes, it doesn't necessarily make sense that he's not doing the things. So, but yeah.
I mean, yeah, I just liked it whenever I forget whenever I started watching them, I started with 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, and then 7, 8, 9. But I felt that episode 5 was a
relationship too.
I felt that episode 5 was just a lot better than 4. Just mainly for those reasons. I like the build off that it had from episode 4, and then just the build up it has towards episode 6.
I'm really appreciative of like the because I don't want to call them space battles because it's not always space battles, but like where they're using any of their flying vehicles for battles, I really enjoyed those in these movies. I think that was like one of my favorite things from the movies, and something that like definitely stood out to me was like the vehicle combat, even though there wasn't a ton of it, was still really good.
Yeah, I agree. I always love watching the space battles.
But yeah, that's why I chose that as my number 4. So, Colin, back to you for your number 3.
Number 3, I'm gonna say it's gonna be Rogue One.
Rogue One. I think that's like the one the friend group just does not like at all. If I'm correct, I'm not sure. Everyone told me that was a waste of time.
Let me tell you how fucking much I hate Rogue One.
Well, hold on before you go off. I feel like Rogue One is like it's fine.
Dude, it's really good. This is my least favorite movie out of everything.
It's just the reason being,
I don't have like a problem with. Did it need to exist? No, not even a little bit. But is it offensive? No, it's just like a fine movie to watch.
Dude, you know who likes Rogue One?
Colin.
Dude, boomers.
Boomers. Okay. So, anyways, I think like I'm going to say with every movie is that it was so much fun.
Sure.
It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed not having like Jedi this time. I know that's crazy, but like I mean it was at the end and like there were small things, but I liked how the main character was like just a regular person. Yeah, and like you got to see like
not
what
like
the
related to
soldier's
another
point
major
of
Star
view
Wars character
was
or anything like that.
but you could see what the like the soldiers' point of view was, you know, like you could see everybody who was fighting, like they were just like, all right, I guess we got to do this in order to win the war, you know. Like I kind of like that. And then like let's not just discount everything Darth Vader actually did in this movie, which was like so
if we're
dope.
ranking Rogue One as just the Darth Vader scene, probably number one. If it's
Dude,
not
Darth
number one,
Vader-
it's pretty good.
Was
the
that
Darth Vader
scene
scene
even
is hands
really
down.
good?
Rogue
I've
One is
watched
Darth Vader scene plus a bunch of filler.
I've watched that Darth Vader scene on YouTube, and I honestly felt nothing.
Huh?
I was
You're
like,
crazy.
I was like, oh, okay, that's cool.
Wait, are you like for real?
I'm being 100% serious. I watched the scene, and I was like, okay, I don't get it. I guess this movie really would have been a waste of time if I watched it.
Okay.
I don't know. Everyone. I mean, then again, you guys.
I mean,
have
you're
the whole
allowed to be wrong.
childhood.
Everyone's.
You have the childhood
Like,
of
every
Star
so
Wars
often.
behind your side, but like I thought it was cool, but I was just like, okay, like I didn't get the huge like
shit, dude.
hype
The
and
hype as
everything
shit.
for it.
So like I don't know. That's also the same thing I enjoyed about the Battlefront 2 story, was like it was a lot of really good like soldier perspective things, and like things that were happening in the world is what I liked about it, because I'm always the person who's going to go off of world building, and I'm always the person who's always going to go off of like I play video games to the extent where I'm checking in corners and looking at the dumb little things that are written on like the books that genuinely mean nothing, and they only wrote something on it so that way like there was detail there, but I'm reading those kinds of things. So I really enjoy whenever I see a different aspect of what's going on in that universe.
It also makes the Empire not seem like a bunch of incompetent
Yeah.
idiots.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing. Is like the Empire clearly isn't just
We
Darth
designed
Vader
this
at that point.
multi-billion-dollar space station.
Yeah.
But if you shoot a little missile just right there, the whole thing explodes.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's like I think that's part of the movie, is that it just expands the universe to a point where like now you get to see people who aren't, you know, the super soldiers. You get to see the people who have to die.
Yeah, I like Rogue One. It's good. I don't really have much to say about it. I haven't watched it since it came out, so I'm not really like fresh on the movie.
Well,
I will say, maybe it's like a criticism of that I personally have. I don't really like how like, you know, remember what was the droid's name? That big dude, the big droid who like fought all the dudes.
ET345.
Yeah, I really don't like how like he's like a generic Marvel character, in the sense that they try to write quippy one-liners, but they don't really stick and they're not really funny.
Yeah, but if we're
Like
like
a lot
talking
of,
Disney
like,
movies
modern-
in general, that's
I
all they
think-
do
all
after.
I mean, sure, but like I feel like not like a lot of movies I think that I've seen recently like try to do that,
I think,
and I
the
think most of the
robot-
time they're really bad
I think the robot was the best
because
part
they're
of
not
Rogue One.
they're not written very well.
aside from Darth Vader.
I just feel like I just don't like
Dude,
quippy characters that aren't well written. To me, are really stupid, and I really don't like them.
I hate Rogue One. I
All right, Zach, go off.
Dude,
Go
I
off right
don't
now.
like
Let me
Rogue
know.
One. And like, all right, I watched it once in the theater because it was a Star Wars movie, and I was there. I watched it all. Every other time after that, I've watched it 4 to 5 other times that I can remember. Every single time, I have either passed out watching it, or I have just had to stop and like do something else because it has not held my attention at all. And the times that I have stopped, I have fast forwarded it through the Darth Vader scene when he kills all those rebels. And that's it. That's all that I check out. I'm like, all right, I saw what I wanted to see out of this movie. I get why people like it. It makes sense. I just don't think I liked episode 4 enough to appreciate the minute differences. I will say, as I've played like Jedi Fallen Order, it is
I don't know if you have to like episode 4 a lot to really enjoy.
Yeah, you
Rogue
don't really
One.
need to like that.
I don't know.
I don't know. I think you have to enjoy like the entirety of the original trilogy more in order to like Rogue One. But I think like the more I've seen Saw Gerrera and like the Fallen Order and other iterations of Star Wars, the more I've like kind of connected with that a little more. Where I'm like, oh, I know who this guy is.
Well,
It's not
you
some
like
fucking
you like
random
terrorists.
guy.
Is that what you're saying?
No, but in the sense that like I know kind of more about what's going on and who this person is and why they're doing whatever they're doing, rather than like, hey, some guy who's supposed to be some crazy dude who does the thing that does the stuff.
I think that's a lens that like we as younger Star Wars fans are sort of like blessed to be able to see through, because like a lot of the older fans, if when they saw the prequels in theaters, they're like, this shit is trash, like it's not written well, Anakin like kind of sucks. But we as like younger fans got to watch the Clone Wars, so we saw how like Anakin actually does have this pretty good progression in that show, and can like sort of tie that into how it overall like fits in the whole prequel trilogy and in a greater sense the whole Star Wars universe.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah, and I think the TV series with anything is always going to do a better job at expanding the universe, but I
A
think
lot
there's
of the
something
TV show is like some of the best Star Wars like put in
Yeah.
motion picture. Like not
I don't
close.
understand why the TV series has like these like they can cover so much in 20 minutes that almost all of the films can't even touch. And I don't understand it sometimes. Like they do some really cool stuff in the in like all the TV series, and then they're like in the films they're like, okay, we're just going to cover the main characters.
Dude, I think it's freedom.
I do, and I think in the films they have to.
What they talk about in the TV series, I don't give a fuck. All right, do the thing, whatever you want to do. It's fine.
I think the films they have to give these characters so
get
much
paid
time,
for
so
it,
that way
like,
everybody
prequel
can
movies.
get the person that they want.
No, for sure. I agree.
And I think that creates issues where it's like, well, you know what, with the TV series, this episode we're just going to talk about this guy right now.
I think a lot of it is like marketing too. Like it's easier to market to people like the characters that they already know and love.
Yeah.
From the past films,
especially for movies where you're spending.
It's
Star
almost
Wars
like TV
was
shows
27.
are supposed to expand on the universe, but the main movies, like they need to like fill the marketing budget. They need to like sell.
They need to
toys
fill
and shit,
seats to get people to watch the TV
Yeah,
series.
it has to be focus grouped. Like they need people to like the characters that they're watching.
Yeah,
I understand where you're coming from, but I think logistically it makes more sense for them to do it that way.
All right, Colin, that was your number 3.
Yes.
We're gonna go on to Matt for your number 3. What did you pick?
My number 3, fitting as it may be, is episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. Dun dun dun.
Tell us why.
I'll talk to you guys in episode. I'll talk to you guys around 3 whenever we get to movie.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. I mean, I really love episode 3. It's probably the movie that I've seen the most out of all the Star Wars films. I watched it like on repeat when I was a kid, basically. And I just think it has probably some like the best action
Of just all the movies, and like it's good. It's a good like nostalgia movie too, I'm sure.
Matt, you're muted, bud.
Yeah, I know. Owen came in the room.
Your
so Owen came in the room.
Oh, okay.
Owen is Matthew's brother. Just for the listeners at home.
So where was I? Yeah, I think it has some of the best action. But the Star Wars, the opening scene with Obi-Wan and Anakin, and they're in the Coruscant fight is just chef's kiss, amazing. The whole Obi-Wan Anakin fight is awesome. The Yoda Palpatine fight is just so cool. Even like the Grievous Obi-Wan fight is just super awesome. And I think like watching Anakin sort of break down over the course of the movie is like really interesting to watch. I will say like what really sets it back from being the best film for me personally is that you guys might not like it, but I really don't think it's written very well. Like a lot of the same issues from 2 carry over. I'm not a fan of the Padme Anakin relationship. I don't enjoy it. I don't find it like super interesting. I think at times the acting is shoddy at best. Specifically the scene where Obi-Wan and Padme are talking about Anakin turning, and there's like no emotion in that scene whatsoever. It really takes me out of the movie. I think the only person who really does a stand-up job is Palpatine. I cannot, for the life of me, remember his name.
His name's Palpatine.
I'm terrible at actor names.
He's really the only one who like when I go back and watch it, like notably gives a very good performance. I think Natalie Portman like really phones it in. Obviously, we know it's mostly George Lucas being a bad director, but still, like Sam Jackson basically showed up for the check. He didn't really do anything.
Oh no, Sam.
It has its
Jackson's probably
problems,
just there for fun.
but
Dude, leave Mace alone.
without all the
He's
like,
citizens people for no reason.
Episode 3 would be the best Star Wars movie if it was made by someone not named George Lucas. Like I think if like Spielberg got the script, tweaked it just a little bit, and like directed it well, it would have been the best film in the series by a large margin. But because it has the George Lucas quirks, it's what holds it back for me personally. I still love the movie. I think it's fantastic and a really fun watch, but it just has problems.
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't know. I don't know if I really. I guess he could have, but what I'm thinking is like he had to have gotten somebody's opinion. Like there had to have been another writer in there, and that's what I was getting at like the beginning is like
that wasn't the vibe I got from watching like some behind the scenes stuff. I think it's mostly him.
It just feels like he was using somebody else's opinion or something, because it isn't anything that he was like the writing for this trilogy. Like you compare it to the last one, and it's definitely nowhere close to the same. So like either he locked himself in a room until he wrote everything.
Really had a lot more help with the prequels. Fox basically gave him free reign for the prequels. Like George made the movies that he wanted to with no outside input. Have you seen like the original cut of A New Hope? It's it's horrendous.
Yeah, it's terrible.
The story is that George's ex-wife basically went behind his back, cut the whole movie the way it's supposed to be, and like came out with a masterpiece. George divorced her, and she's nowhere to be seen for the sequel trilogy, and it has all these George quirks in it that just hold it back from being spectacular.
I don't know if they just said, all right, George Lucas, do whatever you want, and he locked himself in a room and wrote like all 3 episodes within one sitting, or if I just feel like there has to be something that like somebody was saying, no, don't do that, no, don't do that, no, don't do that, no, don't do that, or whatever. Or maybe they said, hey, we want it to be, we want it to feel like, the drama is more of like, your TV soaps or some dumb, like there had to have been somebody whispered in his ear. I just don't know if I believe that he just completely wrote this without any output.
So Matt, episode 3 is your number 3 spot. Just
you trying to rush me?
Just so we're trying to get a little bit back on topic. We're talking about George Lucas's
wife.
Talking
about episode 3. I mean, that's a very important part of episode 3 is George Lucas.
I think George Lucas was a very important part.
I mean, like, if we're going to talk about the importance of George Lucas, that's a
whole other thing.
That's like, I mean, like, yeah, like...
Zach, do you think episode
top 5
3 is too low? Or are we going to talk about it later?
Dude, I'm not even talking to you, Matt. I'm not even...
Bro, 3 is not the perfect movie.
Dude, I'm not talking to you, man. I'm not talking to you. Fuck you.
The meme potential from 3?
Dude,
I don't think memes determines anything, my man.
All right, Ron.
Memes can enhance,
right? Who's next?
I've been trying, Zach.
Next.
I've been trying.
Ron's next.
My number 3 pick is Solo.
Oh shit!
So,
all right,
yeah.
Number 3.
Talk to me about that, Ron. Tell me about it.
I really just enjoyed the. I don't really know if you can classify it as this, but I kind of liked that like space like Western style of the movie.
No,
just
100%.
With
Solo is like very like Red Dead. We're in the West. We're like fending for ourselves. So, absolutely.
Yeah, just I like the story of just like Han Solo, his like origin story, him meeting Chewie for the first time, them getting together. That was oddly accurate.
Was it? That's kind of scary actually, because I didn't think it was.
Not really. I was trying to boost your ego a little bit. But I liked that whole origin of like them meeting and everything, especially the Darth Maul hype at the end though too.
Dude, hype Darth Maul.
I mean,
Darth Maul,
which is kind of
great.
Yes, I really liked it. It's like a modern day Star Wars movie too, because that was before I even watched the other movies. And like compare, I think that came out before or after Episode 8. Before, yeah. Like
I don't remember.
I think it came out after 8,
Well, it's
but
like it's like the year after, I think, actually.
it came out after 8,
like
I
a long
believe,
time
and like
ago.
I personally just didn't like Episode 8 at all. 7 was just okay. It felt like a reskinned original movie, but that's another topic. But Solo, of like those newer movies, I liked the most. So that's why I threw it at my number 3 spot.
So, like, what was it about Solo that specifically that, like, so obviously, like, Ron, as our resident Star Wars main man, why Solo? Like, what is like, so your previous ones were
My previous ones, number 5 was Attack of the Clones, and number 4 was Empire Strikes Back.
So why is Solo above those? Like, what is it that Solo does that's above those two?
I think it's just more entertaining. Like Episode 2, as I said, I pretty much just chose it because it was funny because of how like poorly it was written. Episode 5, I liked it like with the training of Yoda, but like besides that, like I didn't really care for anything else that happened. Like Han got taken by a Jabba the Hutt.
By a Jabba.
Sure. Yeah, but I mean, besides that was one of the really entertaining parts of Episode 5. Just, I feel like Solo, just all around, was just a good movie. It had enough action, suspense, and everything with it. So that's why I just really enjoy it.
I think it's almost because it's like doesn't feel like a Star Wars movie.
It
just
felt
like a fun movie
it's a good, like what a spin-off should be, is what that movie was.
I agree with it. 100%. I think that's very accurate.
Yeah, that's why I chose this number 3. But swinging back to Colin for Episode 2, or sorry, number 2. I have my list. I have 1 through 5, and then I have all the episodes written. So I keep like
number 3.
I keep mixing.
Do my number 3. No, for sure, I did not.
Oh, you said I was next. That's why we went to you. That's why
I said Zach was next, and you ignored me.
No, like whatever. Everyone's yelling. All right, Zach, number 3. We're going in a different order.
My number 3 is The Empire Strikes Back.
Why might that?
That
was met to no applause.
I mean, I like
Empire. Like out of the prequels, out of the original trilogy, I think The Empire Strikes Back is the strongest movie out of all of them. I think A New Hope sets up kind of this world that you're supposed to be in, and Empire Strikes Back really kind of sends home what's going on. Luke at this point is obviously kind of in the rebellion. Like, dude, you have the Luke, I am your father moment. That whole big reveal, if like you're fortunate enough to somehow not know that reveal, is amazing.
It would have gotten leaked if it was made in 2020.
For sure. But I love it, dude. I think out of all 3 of them, it's really good. I think it tells a stronger story. I love how the ending is just so like, what the fuck's going on, in the sense that like you just found out Darth Vader's Luke's father. Luke doesn't have an arm, but wait, he kind of does. Puts his arm around his sister. That's like kind of a romantic interest for him at the point. Han's frozen in carbonite or whatever. Carbonite, right? Is it carbonite?
Yes.
Han's frozen in carbonite. You're like, what's going on? This is crazy. How are they going to follow this up? And then they follow it up the way they do, which is fine. But yeah, I love it. I think some of the most iconic Star Wars moments come from Empire Strikes Back, and I love Empire Strikes Back for that. So
I love Empire.
3. Yeah.
All right. Well, to bring it back to Colin, I guess we were gonna do before, but then before I skipped over Zach. Colin, what is your number 2?
All right. So my number 2 is Episode 8. I really enjoyed Episode 8.
Sorry, whenever you pause, I'm gonna put in clapping sound effects and stuff.
Yeah.
So Episode 8,
I really
tell me
enjoyed
why.
Episode 8. Here's the thing: is I really enjoyed the new trilogy. I know Matt's gonna sit there and tear it apart for whatever reasons he has, but
Well, that's because it's trash. But keep going.
Episode 8 was around the time that I started watching Star Wars Resistance, and I really appreciated like going back and watching it after watching Star Wars Resistance. I really appreciated it because like there's a lot of things that like again the world building that like these other shows do really gives the movies like a different look once you go and like look at these shows and the things that they're building, and then you go back and you go, okay, let's apply these to the movies. I don't know, I had a lot of fun watching the fight scene in Snoke's little red area. I don't even know what to call it, but the red area.
The red area,
like
his chambers.
Yeah,
like
his
chamber
throne room. It was a thing, but I really enjoyed that whole thing. And I get that, like, I remember I was talking to one of my friends about it, and he was like, well, did you watch that one person pick it apart? And I was like, I mean, sure, if you pick it apart, I'm sure somebody, like, their hands aren't holding it correctly or whatever.
No, all right.
But
as someone who had this as number 4, there's a lot of like dumb things that happen in that fight that would make no sense for like some trained like trooper to do at all.
well,
if like you slow-mo it down and like.
But you're also you're also saying that this isn't a different. Like, you're also saying that this is supposed to be like the same as the other enemies. Like, these are definitely different enemies.
They should be better. That's what I'm saying.
You think they should be better? I don't necessarily think they should be, based on
the bar for enemy troops is set extremely low.
Like, I mean, like in the sense of like them like locking sabers with someone and then just like opening up. Like I don't think someone of that rank would have. I don't think that would happen. Like, realistically,
I'll give them the benefit of the doubt and say that lightsaber fighting is mostly made up.
Yeah, I mean,
so they can kind of do whatever they want, so long as it.
Plus,
it's
like,
really not sword. That is not what sword fighting is.
No,
not even a little bit.
Plus, like, there are tons of times, which I don't know why they don't do it in the movies, but there's tons of times where like people will literally turn their lightsaber off and turn it back on just to go through somebody's lightsaber, and they've never bothered to do that in a movie, which would be so much fun and so cool.
Actual sword fighting is basically fencing. Like, that's what you're actually doing when you're sword fighting.
But I don't know, I really enjoyed it because not only was it like a scene for lightsabers, but it also kind of felt like it was like a dance, which is what was enjoyable about it. Is like there was something a little bit like, it just felt like there was this large flow to it. I just felt the flow of that scene immensely.
8 has its problems for me, but like I said, my main problem with 8 stems from what happened in episode 9, where they took the ending of 8, because I think what happens in 9 retroactively makes 8 much less significant in the grander scheme of the world, if that makes sense.
I think it does.
I guess. I mean, I know, Matt, that we're definitely going to have varying appreciations for different things, but I mean, I enjoyed like kind of like how Zach touched on earlier, the ship exploding was just
phenomenal.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's awesome. That scene is fantastic.
I love the opening. That opening, like, hello, are you there?
But there's a scene like that, and then you have the casino part of the movie that's like pretty dumb.
Well, see, so like my thing with the casino thing is like, I get that people are like, oh, whenever you're writing this, did you just say let's fill some? But like, I think the thing that brought up is that they aren't this superpower, and it's easy to deceive those people because they are just people living in a jungle trying to fight off like this literal superpower. So like, I think it showed how human they are and how so many people do make mistakes, and like that war isn't perfect. I get that it wasn't necessarily the most glamorous way to show it, but I still enjoyed it for that aspect, that it was like, oh wow, like they do make mistakes. The Resistance does make mistakes, and sometimes we have to pay for that shit that happens in the time we wasted, you know?
Yeah.
I guess.
Great pick. I've kind of tuned out just a little bit, not gonna lie. But to move on, Matt, what's your number 2 pick?
My number 2 is Empire, for all the similar reasons that Zach previously stated in his number 3. I just really love Empire, like, as a whole. I think it's very well made. It's a lot of fun. Empire is everything I want a Star Wars movie to be, basically. Like, obviously, I want the fun moments, and I want like all the cool action stuff that Empire delivers. But like, why I think
That's the
that
first real like lightsaber fight you ever see.
Yeah, basically. But
which
like,
is like nothing crazy, but
as
still.
far as like, but I also want them to be well made. Like, I want them to be well written and well acted. I want them to be good. I don't want them to be like just fun blockbusters. I want them to be good movies. Almost first, but maybe like a little less than first.
But like, stay tuned for number 1.
Yeah, I mean, like, what's a good way of, like, my number 2 and number 1 are there because they're both fun, but like they're also well written and well made. I think they almost transcend Star Wars in the sense that they're just good movies. They're not like Star Wars movies, but like when you break them down, they're like, they're kind of shaky. You know, sometimes there's some bad writing. Maybe like if you break down like the whole story, like a lot of it doesn't make much sense. But my number 2, number 1, I think really stand out as like the best and most well-made films in the franchise.
Zach, what is your number 2 pick?
My
Where are we looking?
number 2. And this is going to be probably met with animosity from everyone except for maybe you, Ron. Honestly, my number 2 is The Phantom Menace.
At number 2,
I'd say it's a good pick.
No, I think it's
Number
a good
2.
pick.
Yeah, I'd say it's a great pick.
The only reason I gave
Menace...
Matt crap for it was because he was given crap on episode 2 after he, said that they wasted all this time, and I was like, but it is just walking in episode 1.
I think Phantom Menace is it sets up everything. It sets up everything. It gives you a good idea as to why. There's so much, and I think the more you watch it, the more you pick up on. And with Anakin being a slave, seeing the pod race, seeing how like the dynamic between Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan, like there's a lot more there than I think that a lot of people realize with the relationship between Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan.
Well, Qui-Gon is vitally important to the story in so many ways, but that's just like looking back on it.
Into Qui-Gon as much,
right?
As
like I think that like so much is propelled by the first movie that is why it is my number 2, is because it sets everything in motion. Like I mean, yes, because it's like the fucking first movie of the series. Like, yes, nothing else can happen after that, but like it doesn't really, it explains why nothing else can happen after that. Like, it explains why it sets up everything it does in the way that it does, and like especially knowing Palpatine's plot and everything, like you kind of see those like dominoes kind of click into place, and you're like, you're just giving him it, man. You're just doing exactly what he wants you to do, but this is like what the best decision is for you, and like it's like you see it all unfold, and I that's why episode 1 is my favorite.
I think 1 has the benefit of being in the same sequel or in the same trilogy as Revenge of the Sith. That was like a very, very good ending to the prequels as a whole, so it like retroactively makes 1 better because you know where it's going and you know it's going to be great at the end.
I think I kind of enjoyed like the whole first series. I just enjoyed that it was more like it felt like a real war. Like of a modern war, I should say, not a real war, but it felt like a modern war. How like it's more about like, you know, these people are like these people want to expand, these people want to expand, these people need certain resources, these people need certain resources, and then they go and they clash because, you know, the Trade Federation is this like complete awful, like just making money off of war. But I think
at war in the Phantom Menace.
Well, yeah, but you know what I mean. Like that whole first,
No, I
like
get
the
what
whole
you're saying.
first thing was like this. It felt like a lot more modern, which is I think is why we probably connected to it a little bit more. Where the original trilogy definitely was like, you know, Nazi Germany's just taken over. Like we are just gonna take over and we're gonna do what we want, and that's what the Empire felt like. And that's a fun. Don't get me wrong, that's a fun villain. Villains are fun whenever they say, "I'm gonna do whatever the fuck I want," and you're gonna have to deal with it. But I think that's why I connected with the first series a little bit more. Was it felt like it was something that was a little bit more connected to our struggle today,
Mm.
and I think that's why I liked Phantom Menace a little bit more.
I mean, I like the Phantom Menace a lot. I think it has a lot of problems when you break it down, but I mean, I had it on my list, so obviously I like it. Is it number 2? Not in a million years, personally.
All right. Well, Phantom Menace being Zach's number 2. But to move on to mine, I would say mine is Episode 6, Return of the Jedi, for number 2. I feel it's a classic choice to have on a list. My main reason is just because it's just the conclusion to the original trilogy, and I really liked it.
It's number 2.
Number 2. Number 2
is Episode 6.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just because I don't know, like it kind of just wraps up like Darth Vader's and Luke's like story. I mean, I guess definitely Darth Vader's story.
Begins Luke's story, I guess.
Yeah, but
it ends and begins.
Yeah, it ends and begins, but at least just like you just kind of see like that part of them come back, especially in Episode 5, when he's saying like Luke, I'm your father, and then like how is it going to be in Episode 6, and then 6 rolls around, then it's like, you know, in the end it's just family. I think that was just kind of the thing at the like the message end, like family is more powerful than anything. And then, you know, Darth Vader takes out Palpatine, which, you know, a couple
or does he?
A couple decades later, comes back. It's crazy, but we're gonna ignore that.
I think we should ignore that.
Yeah, but I don't know.
I mean, I would like to talk about that, but we can't because people haven't watched Rebels. So,
but yeah, no,
What part? Audience.
What part without spoiling? I'm genuinely curious.
The end, like, I don't know how far Zach is because I don't think Ron would really mind that much.
The end was like kind of mid to me. Like it was fine.
The ending involving
spoiler alert,
and they literally like they even talked about it, and they said we did have a scene explaining it, and I was like, honestly, why didn't you include it? And I don't know why they didn't include it. They said we literally wrote out this whole thing involving how it makes sense based on Rebels, and they just didn't include that in the movies. And I was just like, why wouldn't you do that? That's the like I got it, I completely understood it, but that's because I really liked Rebels and I really enjoyed Rebels at the same pace as I enjoyed Clone Wars. I literally rewatched Rebels as many times as I've watched Clone Wars at this point. Like I really enjoyed it. So I think that's my big issue is they wrote in the reason and then they said, nope, we're just going to put in fun stuff because Guardians of the Galaxy sold well.
Yeah, that's the problem I have with a lot of modern day movies, or at least blockbusters.
Yeah.
They try to make them all Guardians, upsetting. And it can be frustrating. Rebels has things that I really love, and Rebels has things that I really don't like. I think it's good overall and definitely worth watching.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, to anyone listening, if you're not watching Star Wars movies and you haven't tried anything, like you want to try something new Star Wars, you haven't watched Rebels, I guess it comes recommended. I've never watched it, but I think Colin and Matt could vouch for its greatness.
Easily.
Oh yeah, watch Clone Wars before Rebels.
Clone Wars is miles better than Rebels, but Rebels is good.
Because there are a ton of things that happen in Rebels that they reference Clone Wars with, so like you definitely still have to watch Clone Wars, but I think Rebels is pretty on par with Clone Wars.
But boys, we are at the final part of the show where we list our number one favorite Star Wars movie. Colin,
Let's go.
hit us with it, and please be gentle for Matt.
See, there's a part
not
of me
my
that was just
favorite,
gonna hit him with episode 9 just because.
It's not your favorite though.
It's not.
No way. That movie's, dude. If that was episode 9, I could talk about how bad episode 9 is for like 2 hours. I hate episode 9.
That's
so
fine.
much.
It's fine
It's
if you
so
hate episode
bad.
9.
It's so
But
bad.
my number 1 is episode 3. And the
No,
reason being
I understand why you and
is
Zach have episode 3 at number 1.
I will not
Matt,
not that I will not,
what are you talking about, dude?
but my list isn't which one should be the best. My list is which one did I enjoy the most. And honestly, if I'm talking Star Wars movies, episode 3 is the one that has left the most marks in my brain, the one that I remember the best, and I just enjoyed the hell out of episode 3.
I mean, I respect the choice.
I mean, I love episode 3.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
love
I think
episode
something
3.
that
I
I
think
even,
everyone here loves episode 3. It just has problems
Something-
for me personally that hold it back.
something that I don't know why they got rid of it. I mean, I know why they got rid of it. Just because, you know, time passes, things change. But the thing that sticks to me the most are the jets, whatever you want. I don't even remember what they're called because I'm such a horrible fan. But at the opening dogfight scenes where Obi-Wan and Anakin have those the jet fighter things that they have, I freaking love those things. I dream about flying those things because they are so freaking cool. I absolutely love General Grievous. I really enjoyed the fights with General Grievous. I enjoyed what else we got so I think this one also showed a lot of what I wanted from the clones, which was like a diversity between the clones. And there's scenes where you can see like all the different helmets, all the different gear that the clones wore because it's the Mark 1 armor, and like it's really cool, and you get to see all the fun stuff that the clones have, and you get to see them like real, not drawn out in Clone Wars. You got, I mean, I really enjoyed the General Grievous stuff. That was a lot of fun. You always got the whole Palpatine Anakin scene. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed whenever they went and Yoda was with Chewbacca, not Chewbacca, but why can't the Wookiees, and they were doing all that stuff like that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
The
It
whole
was
critique scene is really
Yeah, you
cool.
just
the whole movie. I remember. I will never be able to repeat any movie by heart, but I remember almost all of the scenes and what happened in those scenes. Versus almost all the other movies. Like I remember, I forget who said it, but I fell asleep in one of the movies. I think it was Zach. If I'm being honest, I've probably fallen asleep in all these movies, but episode 3 is the one where I do not fall asleep. And I think that's also just because I've watched these so many times that at this point, like if I throw it on, it's almost background noise sometimes. But episode 3, I do not fall asleep in.
great pick. I mean,
General Grievous is probably one of my favorite characters.
I really enjoyed him. And you know what?
Maybe
I think,
not maybe like less in episode 3, but more of like in the Clone Wars is like the recurring villain, and like just the idea of like the droid Jedi Hunter who like
Yeah.
also like wields lightsabers. Like it's just so cool.
I
Another
attribute
one from my collection.
I attribute a lot of my like for the first, not the original, but like 1, 2, and 3 trilogy to the Lego games. And I think it's just because I felt like, again, the original trilogy was very fun. I really enjoyed it. But if you're trying to play the original trilogy in a game, it doesn't flow so well because there's not a whole lot of action. Like they had to add in action in the game in order to like make it a game. And I think that's something that like where whenever you play Lego the series the first trilogy, you kind of sit there and you go, okay, like this pretty much matches the movies. I'm sure they're adding in stuff, but like this pretty much matches the movies, and if not extends on little things that happened here and there. Where I felt like whenever I played the complete saga, I was just kind of disappointed, I guess. Like I was like, oh, I was expecting this to be so wonderful, and it didn't feel as fun as the first Lego game. And I think that's the same thing with the first trilogy for me, is that it didn't feel as fun. And the first trilogy was just better, in my opinion.
Matt, hit us with your royal number one.
It's my turn for number one.
It is your turn for number one.
My number one is The Return of the Jedi. I think it's mostly because I'm the only person in this call who likes Luke.
You're such
And I
a
really,
boomer.
really loved seeing the conclusion of Luke's story on screen.
Luke's story?
Luke's
You saw
story?
the conclusion of Luke's story?
Return of the
Luke
Jedi.
have a
You saw
story?
Return of the Jedi.
No,
Because of
no,
Darth
Colin,
Vader.
shut up. Colin, shut up. I'm happy that you saw the end of Luke's story, Matt. I'm happy that you saw that.
Is there anything else?
Please.
There's no like snark
No.
comment you wanted to
No,
make about?
I'm happy that you
about how
saw
much-
that. I'm
about how much
happy.
you
I'm
don't stand Luke?
happy. I'm happy. No, Matt. My qualms are not with Luke. I'm happy that you saw the end of Luke's story, and I would love to hear about why that was such a.
Well, the
difficult
prequels
experience
is
for you.
it is Luke's story. The
Mhm.
overall
Yeah,
1 through 6 is Anakin's story, but
sure. Yeah,
pretty much
yeah.
agree with
Okay.
the end of Luke's story.
As
'cause
long as we can agree with half of what you said. Yeah.
You're so aggressive right now. I don't understand.
He's
Where
just
you're coming
agreeing
from.
with half
Maybe I
of
just
what you
don't
said.
value
Matt,
Anakin
I'm
as highly
agreeing
as
with
you do.
you. I agree with you.
Your tone would suggest otherwise.
No, Matt, I'm on board. If you're on a boat, dude, I'm in the dinghy of that boat for sure. Absolutely.
Matt,
Oh,
tell us why.
Like also like episode 6, it's just so fun. Like there's a lot of fun, cool action scenes. The whole Jabba's palace section of the movie is just so awesome. We get the sort of introduction to Boba Fett. He does the one very small thing he does in the whole trilogy, which is die.
Yeah, he does. You do
You see,
that.
like Luke is a full-fledged Jedi, which is really cool. So he's actually like doing cool action stuff. The Endor speeder race is a lot of fun. Like whenever Han is like trying to take over the shield generator, and Chewie gets in the AT-ST and he's shooting people, and the Ewoks and all that stuff, and Lando and the Falcon trying to blow up the Death Star again, and then it's a trap, and then you see like Vader go through his like finish his arc too, which is pretty cool to see. And then when at the end when he's like, "Let me look at you with my real eyes," and then he died. Like it's just such a fantastic ending, I think.
Okay. I'm
Very-
here for it.
Yeah, I'm here
think
for
If
it.
someone told me that like 6 had like 6 probably like it's not perfect. Like there's really no such thing as a perfect movie. And if you told me that like you didn't really like 6 for X, Y,
No.
and Z, I can understand why people might
I
not value
appreciate
6 as highly as me personally. But I love everything about 6. I think it's such a fun watch, and it's
I
very well
appreciate
made.
that.
It is everything that I could ever want from a Star Wars movie. Period.
I think
I
No, go ahead,
appreciate
Zach.
what you said, Matt. I appreciate what you said, and I actually don't disagree with it. I am actually very fond of what you said, and like kind of I agree with what you said. I appreciate what you said.
But Zach is about to tell us why you're so wrong.
He's gonna tell me why I'm wrong.
because
and
Zach
how I
is
hate
about-
Revenge of the
Dude,
Sith 'cause it's-
Zach
me-
right now is gonna lay down his
Not
number
fair.
1 spot.
Dude, let me explain to you why fucking episode 3 is the epitome of Star Wars that it could ever hope for. Alright, look. It is the most intense period of Star Wars. It has the most like alright, when you read Romeo and Juliet in like high school and you're like, no, like literally if you just said the thing to the person like once, like it would have been fine, like you would have been okay, like you didn't have to deal with the thing. That is all of episode 3.
That's
It's
the whole
just
movie.
what?
It's the whole movie.
Dude, it's like it's like so much of like that like classic tragedy of like it's just like, oh, but if you did, oh, stop, like, no. And that's, I think, what kind of really makes it like kind of what it is, and arguably can make it like what people hate. And I understand that, but like, I think once you understand the ramifications of everything going on, like especially with like what the Clone Wars adds to episode 3 specifically, once you understand all those things, you understand why those decisions are made. So what seems to be hastily in episode 3 and seems to be without any true merit in episode 3, still holds the longest sword fight to happen on the cinematic screen ever, between Obi-Wan and Anakin. Such a heart-wrenching and beautiful fight. You have Anakin, who saw Obi-Wan for the majority of his life as a father figure, and then as like more of a brother. Obi-Wan, in the same sense, obviously goes on to protect Anakin's only son. I think episode 3 has so much emotion and just heartbreaking things that happen in it, that like you see Anakin fall, you see Anakin arguably rise to his highest point he's ever been and then fall so easily, but not because he's weak or because he's necessarily dumb, but because he's in the pursuit of something good. And there's something, I think, painful but almost hopeful in that aspect, that he became what he did as Darth Vader because he truly, at the end of the day, he wants to be the thing that makes peace, the thing that like eradicates all pain and suffering in the galaxy. But to do that, he has to become pain and suffering, and that's at the end of the day, all that Darth Vader is pain and suffering. And it isn't until episode 6 that all that comes like kind of full circle, that I think he realizes that it wasn't necessarily all for naught, but like everything he's been doing, he's been manipulated and they just used as a tool. And now he finally can become what he always hoped to be. You know, I mean, it's not that in episode 3, it's not he when he's talking to Padme, it's not that we can have all this power and this is what we can do. It's we can change the world, we can change the galaxy, we can be the thing that sets everything right. And I think that evolution is really beautiful and amazing. And seeing all that kind of come to the surface in episode 3 is what makes it my number 1.
I like the lightsabers and laser beams.
Episode 3 is definitely extremely enhanced by the Clone Wars.
Oh, absolutely. And like that's what I'm saying. Like there's problems with episode 3 for sure.
And then the Obi-Wan and Satine stuff. It really just adds to the whole downfall of Anakin.
Yeah.
Like I think pre-Clone Wars 3 is a little shoddy. Like it's definitely rushed, the downfall of Anakin, because you really only see it in that movie. But after seeing Clone Wars, you could definitely appreciate 3 more.
I agree with you completely.
I have to say, like, you know, I know I said I don't like a certain somebody, but if it wasn't, like, honestly, I cringe, but if it wasn't as cringy whenever some scenes happen in the original trilogy, Return of the Jedi would have been much higher on my list. I just genuinely have issues with that actor.
Yeah, you hope Mark Hamill flies into a black hole.
I don't. I just don't want him to act in anything anymore.
Okay, that's like the same thing.
All right, boys. So we don't have to keep talking about the death of...
argue about Star Wars.
Yeah, Ron's tired of it.
Ron wants to go to bed.
My number 1 pick is previously mentioned episode 3. Shocking, I don't think anybody.
Wait,
I think it's
Wait,
just the
did you not say? Wait, what was your number 2?
number 6, episode 6.
Fuck. Okay. All right. I skipped a beat then. Okay.
Okay.
I for sure thought you said episode 3 was your number 2. I absolutely thought I heard that.
Not even remotely, actually. what you
Cool.
said.
All right, episode 3
crazy.
is my favorite. Pretty much just for the
Dude,
reasons that
Here for it.
Zach and Colin previously discussed with everything.
No, I wanna hear your.
Yeah, we want to hear yours
I wanna
because
hear you, Ron.
you're somebody who like whenever me and Zach talk about the Harry Potter universe or something, like we want your opinion because you're not that into it.
Like when me and Ron and Matt talk, or me, Colin, and Matt talk about episode 3. We do it with the backing of Clone Wars, and I want your reasoning as to why, without
The
seeing
non-Clone Wars
as
watchers.
to why you think episode 3 is like.
I
why
like episode 3
is-
pre-Clone Wars, but Clone Wars just makes that much better.
Like yeah, like I'm like, and that's all I'm saying. I just want to hear like what you have to say and like why you feel the way you feel about it. That's basically it.
So pretty much when I said episode 2 felt rushed, like at the end, I felt that episode 3 had good pacing throughout the movie. I feel that Matt's complaint that with episode 2 there's a lot of Padme and Annie like romance and stuff throughout. I feel that was needed to make episode 3 feel that much more like powerful whenever Anakin just basically throws it all away unintentionally.
Sure, I mean it was needed, but
Yeah, it was
it could have been, written remotely well.
it was
Like,
it
even a
was
little bit,
needed.
but- okay, go on, Chief.
It was needed for the future like installments pretty
Just
much.
because it's needed doesn't mean it's good.
I mean you're right. I'm not saying it is perfect. I was just saying that like that aspect of 2 really helped 3 out with it.
All we're
but,
saying is that you're wrong, Matt.
but
Really,
Y'all could be wrong.
I kind of only want you to talk like that now from now on.
You want me to get all ASMR on you?
Yeah, actually, could you do that?
Yeah, we'll do that
please?
later.
All right,
All right.
Ron, please continue.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. And obviously the lightsaber duel between Obi-Wan and Anakin was just the best part of the movie.
Beautiful.
And then and Annie just says, "Yo, R2, stay put. I'ma go throw my life away and go see my son later." But yeah, I don't
That's
know.
something.
Dude,
That's something else
shout
that
out-
makes.
Shout out to
R2.
R2. Shout out to R2 for being the epitome of snitches get stitches. Like,
But at the same
Dude,
time,
I'm still mad they wrote him out of the sequels. He doesn't do anything.
R2 is
does
so much
nothing,
fun.
and it's upsetting.
I love
And I-
R2 is like
R2 is the best
probably-
droid to ever hit.
yeah,
touch the
R2
game.
R2 is in my top 3 favorite characters.
Dude, number 2,
Honestly-
B fucking T is the second best droid I've ever met in my life.
And honestly, like R2, I feel like is definitely a lot better just because of the Clone Wars. But even
for
with
sure.
the movies standalone, R2 is fantastic.
Dude, R2D.
I love
dude.
everything R2.
Shout out to him. And dude, R2 is the reason they're the reason things get done. Absolutely.
They are 100%. I get he has a
Yeah.
few issues, but he's the reason
No,
things
dude.
get done.
No, dude, if R2 decided to turn on in episode
The Republic
7,
would have lost.
it
in
would have
the
been
Clone
done.
Wars
It would have been done
if
in
not
episode
for
7.
Dude, they would have.
R2.
I get sometimes R2 doesn't get it done the speediest, which we had that whole Clone Wars episode about, but he's the best at his
Dude,
job.
that's fine, dude. He does what he needs to do.
He's
But
the best at his job.
Ron, hit us with it. Hit us with more knowledge that you have.
We had to stay on R2.
I love your knowledge, Ron. Hit it,
I mean,
hit
that's
it.
about it. There's not much left in the knowledge tank for Star Wars for me. But I don't know. I just really like the episode. I just like seeing Anakin's like evolution of character throughout the prequels.
Suits.
Just through everything. I felt that it ended it really well. You always need high ground. I mean, any person playing Call of Duty knows that you always need a high ground. And he tried, just jumping straight over, foolish. There was so, and I love it just because it's funny to meme on it. But that's also the most annoying thing because there's so many different things he could have done than just try to flex real quick. But it's fine.
No, you're right.
But
I guess I'm a little surprised. I didn't know there was so much Anakin fanboyism in this Discord call.
Dude,
Dude,
Anakin's
Anakin's
Maybe
a
I'm
great
just weird
character.
and I'm the only one who doesn't like him.
Don't even.
It's not that I don't like him. I think he's like okay.
I mean, I agree with everything. His opinions on sand,
Yeah.
just everything.
I only like
Fuck
Sand
you
at
know?
the
sand,
beach.
dude. Fuck sand. No, sand is horrible all the time, forever. Fuck sand.
It's coarse and gets everywhere.
Sand is terrible.
It's coarse and rough and gets everywhere. I mean,
I'm
else
hard in
do
the
you want
boat
from-
from fuck sand.
But
No
yeah,
one's touching it with sand.
episode 3 would be my number 1 spot.
Admiral pick, Ron. Admiral pick.
So now
Call that pick Akbar because it's
Admiral, bro.
Yikes. Okay, so now we're at the point of the show. I didn't prepare a I didn't make a honorable mentions list. I didn't think it
I
was
didn't
really.
even think we.
I didn't think it was
Yeah, with
necessary.
how small it is.
I wasn't sure if you guys did. But I didn't think it was really necessary. Matt,
I mean,
did you?
mine would be Solo and Rogue One.
Yeah.
They're just like fun movies. I really don't have much to say about them though. I haven't watched them since they came out.
Like, my honorable mention is if you don't watch all of them, and you don't watch all of Clone Wars, and you don't watch all of Rebels, you should watch Resistance. It's still good. You should watch. You should just watch it all and have a really good time doing it, because that's what this is it's a really good time.
You've probably seen The Mandalorian.
Mandalorian, you need to watch if you haven't seen it.
Dude,
that's
like,
my favorite
my
Star Wars
honorable
thing
mention-
overall.
For sure is Jedi Fallen Order. Like that's not even like a thing that I had planned, but like it's a fucking fantastic game. And Force Unleashed 1 and 2.
Dude, that was like the one thing that I was upset that they made non-canon was the
Dude,
Force
Unleashed
Unleashed.
is so good.
I
Dude,
I was so
talk
upset when
about
they-
Darth
they-
Maul, man. Talk about Darth Maul. Not only did they use the voice of Darth Maul, but they used his actual like character model. That is Darth. Dude, shout out to him, man. Shout out to him. Sam Whitaker. Whitaker.
Whitaker or something.
I'm gonna be so mad. I'm gonna
think
kick
it's like
myself
Whitman.
in the ass. Like, dude, he's gonna be on this podcast one day, and I'm gonna be so mad at myself for not
I mean-
pronouncing his last name right.
I think this Force Unleashed games were a lot of fun, but making them canon would have been insane.
Dude, they're so
Well, they-
good though. They're
they
so
were
good. It
canon.
makes so much sense. It makes
No.
so much sense. Of course. Like, why would the fuck? Like,
No,
Darth
they were
Vader's
canon.
goal at the beginning of Episode 3. We're gonna overthrow the Emperor. We're gonna do the thing. We're gonna fucking make the galaxy the way we want to make it. Does it, man? Like, secretly, I have an apprentice, which is like the most fucking
Yeah,
on Sith thing to do.
It's the hype as shit.
Like, dude, absolutely. I'm
It
here
used to
for
it used to be canon before.
No, it wasn't
Disney
canon
bought it.
before.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
No, there was just certain parts of it that were canon. Like Starkiller wasn't canon.
Yes, he was.
Dude,
No, he wasn't.
Starkiller is
It's gone.
crazy. Dude,
The Force Unleashed 2 was never canon.
I think
The
my,
Force
I think my
Unleashed 1
favorite
was
my
canon.
favorite like
The Force Unleashed
meme.
1 good ending was canon. The
My
the whole
favorite-
DLC ending where like you work under the Emperor and you kill Obi-Wan and Luke, obviously that's not canon.
my favorite meme I've ever seen is like Starkiller and like this like I think it's in like I think it's at the end of Force Unleashed 2, basically where like he cuts that deal with Vader. He's like, oh, if you let me do the thing, I'll walk away or whatever. He's in the forest. There's stormtroopers all around him. He uses the Force, picks them all up, and like destroys them all instantaneously. Then Vader comes in. He's like, like I thought we were good. And Vader's like, here's the thing, man. We're
Dude, and the
not.
Force-
And then
the Force Unleashed
Vader fucks
Finish.
him up after he just destroyed hundreds of stormtroopers around him. What? Oh,
Dude,
that's
The
crazy.
Force Unleashed in the first level, whenever you're playing as Vader and you're killing all the Wookiees, that's the hypest shit ever.
Dude, it's so good. I remember it was my birthday. Ron was watching me play it. Dude, right before we went to Cosmic Bowling.
Dude, shout out to Cosmic Bowling.
Dude, I love
All right. But anyway, thank you all for taking the time out of your day to listen to the podcast. We all appreciate it. If you enjoyed, be sure to like, share, leave a little 5-star review. I mean, who's it really affecting if you leave a 5-star review? You might as well.
Will make us happy.
Yeah,
if you like it, don't lie.
Here's the thing, chat. We love internet points, and the more amount of points we
If you don't think
get,
it's worth 5 stars, tell us why.
Tell us why after you leave the 5-star
Let
review.
us know your favorite Star Wars
we
movie.
don't
And
read.
why episode 2 is trash in the comment section.
We
down
won't
below.
read anything less than 5-star reviews. Just saying, chat. But anyway, thank you all for taking the time out of your day to listen. As I said before, like, share, subscribe. I'm not sure whatever platform I'm putting this on to subscribe, but yeah, thank you all.
Remember, for fun in the chat, you can always like say whose list you agree with the most. Not necessarily the best list, but whose you agree with the most.
It's
and
probably not
talk about
Matt's.
why it's mine in this situation.
Oh, well, I don't have episode 2 on my list, so mine is definitely the best.
If you're an absolute filthy casual such as myself, then you will probably resonate with my list, but we'll see. I don't know. Let me
As
know.
long as you have the right one as number 1, that's fine. That's really at the end of the day all.
But again, thank you all for listening. Have a great rest of your day. Bye, everyone.
See you guys.